Antigua. The game today, champions already with a game to go, Barbados against the Leeward Islands. And for today's game, we can tell you that they have left out Shanika Bruce, Shamila Connell, and Theani Herbert Meyers. Those three are out. Herbert Meyers, Connell, and Bruce. The Leewards are playing an unchanged team from the last game. And so out will be Jazara Claxton, who is sitting her exams, Davernick Maynard, and Jennison Richards. Leewards won the toss and opted to bat first today. Good morning, Victor Eddy.
Good morning, Carlisle Powell, and to everyone. CG Insurance Regional Super 50 right here at Warner Park. The conditions are ideal for cricket, brilliant sunshine. Both umpires are out into the middle. And the Leeward Islands, well, they would have to go in and first of all try to get a good partnership. The turf looks a good one from this distance, but Carlisle Powell, who was out there, he would have some ideas of what the surface looks like to him and how it has been playing for the matches that have been played here at Warner Park.
Has been a good surface. They've played on two different pitches, Victor. And you know CPL coming up shortly. And so two of these pitches have not been used at all on the square. It looks good, dry. Don't expect anything unusual. And Barbados, they are undefeated so far in the tournament. And going from the last game, 228 for 6, Windies 155 all out. And then against Jamaica, Barbados, the highest score of the tournament so far, 318 for 8, Jamaica 113 for 9. Against Guyana, 121 all out, Barbados 122 for 1. And then 162 for 4. That was the score by Barbados, chasing down 161 made by Trinidad and Tobago. So their wins have been emphatic.
Certainly, and very convincing, and really all-around collective performances from this Barbados team, and really demonstrating that they are playing as champions should be playing. They are the defending champions, and thus far they have done it convincingly.
If you look at the runs table, Victor, Keshona Knight, she's out in front by a distance, 275 runs, followed by Haley Matthew with 177 runs, and those two are out in front in the run chart. Afi Fletcher has 148. Ilea Arlene, 113, 111 to Saw. And those are the leading scorers.
So Barbados taking the lead in terms of the first two in the overall tally in the runs thus far in the tournament. Well, the first over is going to come from the southern end. Not a usual thing here at Warner Park.
It's cricket, Victor. You have a choice of ends. You choose anyone. So it's not unusual for me. It's Gordon to bowl to Clark, who is struck on the pad first ball. Umpire says no.
Well, a good delivery first up, finding a good length. And she would hope to be consistent in that area. But that's a good signal, and really, thus far, too, that what would give her confidence is the keeper standing up, and the keeper herself would have a certain amount of confidence standing up to the medium pacer.
2 slips. She comes in, does Gordon, stroked into the offside, and there is no run as cover it is, so moves around to her right.
So the opening batters for the Leewards is Melissa Clark and Chanel Willett. So these two, no doubt, here for the Leewards, and well taken by the keeper, and very efficient in her standing up under the stumps and bringing it in. Also, to what that does, it puts pressure on the batsman, on the batter's movements around the crease with the keeper standing up.
Gordon to Clark, who strokes it back down on the onside, finds mid-wicket. No runs.
Well, the Leewards won the toss and decided that they will bat, so no doubt they will get most likely the better part of the surface, so they will just have to apply themselves.
Here is Gordon again, full of length, again stroked into the onside, no runs. The best batter for the Leewards is Saxena, and she has a total of 91 runs from the 4 games in which she batted. I think she's down in position number 10. Here is Gordon again, and Clark is getting one on the legs, again brings mid-wicket into play. End of the first over, a good one by Gordon. The Leewards are yet to score.
Yes, and a very good one, finding a good line and length, not giving anything away there for the Leewards. Well, the Barbados fielders getting into their various positions. And for those of you who might just be joining us, we are live here at Warner Park. It is the Super 50 CG Insurance Regional Women Cricket Tournament. Lovely weather, ideal for cricket. And the fielders going into their various positions for the commencement of the second over, which will be bowled from the northern end. Fielders just getting in their various positions. Thus far, the keeper standing back. 2 slips, a third man on the boundary, a cover, extra cover, and most likely a mid-off in Selman. There's also a mid-on, a mid-wicket, and a fielder on the long leg boundary.
And it will be Calendar who will be bowling from the media center end. Bowls to Saneldo Willett. Short, wayward, way down the leg side. And that will bring the first runs on the board. That is, goes across the boundary down that fine leg for 4 wides.
Yes, and really a lot of movement on that delivery, but even it moved so wide that the keeper never had a chance. So the Leewards are off the mark with wides, 4 wides. So that goes to the total. They open their account.
5 runs to the Leewards. Captain Willett has been promoted to open the batting. And she's facing up to Calendar. And this one is wide the next way, wide of the off stump. As a matter of fact, it pitched off the square and has been called and signaled a no ball.
Well, I'm not enterprising at all in any way. And really, that wide that it went on the other turf here at Warner Park. Well, let's just see if she can get it right on this occasion.
Free hit, stroked into the offside, only finds cover, no runs.
Well, a missed opportunity there from a free hit, but in any event, no runs. But the Leewards missing out there on that free hit, because only one way a batsman can be dismissed by off a free hit is by the run out.
Calendar once more. This one is wide of the off stumps, but within that tram line, no runs. Leewards is 6 without loss, win over number 2. Remember, Leewards won the toss and decided to bat.
So Calendar, lucky day on that occasion that she was within the tram line, but Selman at mid-off, just exchanging a few words with her. No doubt asking her try to put it on the stumps.
Driven into the offside by Willett. Cover is moving smartly to her right. No runs.
Yes, and Willett opening for the Leeward Islands. And Willett, a very famous name, especially in the Leeward Islands and throughout the world, actually. El Comida Tonito Willett, the first player of Nevis and the Leeward Islands to represent the West Indies at the highest level.
Calendar to Willett. And this wide of the off stump, driving in the air, out caught at backward point for no score. Didn't move her feet to Sanelda Willett. Had a drive at this one, peeled off the outer portion of the bat, and she goes for no score. And her miserable turn at the crease in batting for the Leewards continues. I think she has just brought up a total of all of 3 runs for the entire tournament so far.
Right, and that is a very dismal performance from Willett, and really did herself injustice by not moving her feet and trying to get to the pitch of the ball, was actually extending her arms and extended it to cover, who took a relatively unanticipated catch. So the Leewards losing their first wicket with a total on 6. So it is 6 runs on the board, 1 wicket down. Willett goes without scoring.
And coming to the crease to replace her is the leading run scorer for the Leewards so far, Saxena. She's the overseas player for the Leewards, coming out of Canada. And before this, she's in the top 10. In 10th position, 91 runs accumulated so far.
Well, and in terms of how the Leeward Islands have been performing, this is relatively a good performance in the circumstances, and from a Leeward Islands point of view, they would hope that she can steady and get some runs.
Calendar to Saxena, who is driving, tugs it back onto her pads, and no runs. In terms of the wickets, Victor, Keanu Joseph is leading the pack with 16 wickets. Kelly Elliott is on 12. Followed by Haley Matthew, who had a slow start to the tournament, but has now picked up 9 wickets, joined by Selena White, 9 wickets, 8 wickets to Vanessa Watts. As Calendar bowls to Saxena, who allows this one to go through outside the off stump. 2 overs gone, Leewards batting first, a 6 for 1.
Yes, and that final delivery, it had some bounce in it, really, and that's a good indication that the carry was good there to the keeper. So the Leeward Islands, after winning the toss, they are now 6 runs on the board, 1 wicket down though. Willett is the first to go, and she went without scoring.
Afi Fletcher has picked up 7 wickets so far. Shinetta Grimmond 6, Amanda Edwards 6, Shamila Connell on 6, and Millington also 6 wickets. Those are the top 10 wicket getters. Alison Gordon it is from the far end. This one is striking on the pad. It's going to miss. Its keeper was already heading down leg. The appeal went up nonetheless. But she played around that. Should have been looking to play it a little bit straighter, Victor.
Yes, indeed. And she would have been much more in line, even to play it appropriately. But Alison Gordon, she has found a good line and length thus far, operating from the southern end.
To Clark, and she's driving into the offside, comes off the outer portion of the bat, will go down towards the fielder at third man, and she'll open her account with 1, Melissa Clark, and the score moves on to 7 for 1 in over number 3. Barbados being asked to field first after the Leewards won the toss. Gordon to Saxena, who is behind it, plays it back up the track on the onside. No runs.
Yes, and that defensive forward prod there by Saxena looks good. And probably coming out of Canada, she might have had some sort of preparation before coming here to join the Leewards contingent.
Gordon again steers this one down to third man, does Saxena, and she'll open her count with 1 and take the score up now to 8 for 1.
Yes, and from a Leeward Islands point of view, it will be good if these two, both Melissa Clark and Saxena, to put a partnership after losing Willett without scoring, and Fielders making 1 or 2 adjustments. Well, the Leewards won the toss, so they should really try to apply themselves, play each delivery on its merit, take every opportunity to score when it comes.
Gordon to Clark, who stands up to a full height and plays it down the track on the offside. Fielded by the bowler, no runs. The Leewards, having lost the wicket of Saneldo Willett for no score, 8 for 1. One delivery left in the over. And this one is driven firmly in and down to the fielder at cover. No runs. End of the over, 3 gone. And the Leewards are 8 for 1.
Yes, and Alison Gordon, she continues to bowl well in this Super 50 CG Insurance Super 50 tournament here, right here in St. Kitts. Match is being played at the Connery Cricket Centre and St. Paul's Recreation Ground. And the other matches that would be played at the other venues for today, right here at Warner Park, it's the Leewards versus Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago versus Guyana at St. Paul's, and Jamaica versus the Windward Islands at Connery Cricket Centre. But we are here at Warner Park.
And Saxena has this pronounced trigger, goes across, plays it to mid-off, no runs. Calendar, the successful wicket taker so far.
Yes, and Salman is at mid-off, just giving some encouraging words to Calendar, who is operating from the northern or media center end.
Here is Calendar once more, pulled into the onside, goes down forward of square, and the fielder from mid-wicket chases across, but they'll get a single. And that will take the score on to 9. Saxena moves on to 2. Melissa Clark, who is on 1, comes up to take strike, weighing over number 4.
Yes, and as the strike keep exchanging, that will be a good thing, because every bowler would have to think of different methods and techniques bowling to different batters. So if one batter is there facing numerous deliveries, then the bowler have an excellent opportunity to try and put them into error.
Clark settles over her bat, and for this delivery from Calendar, it's wide, signaled by the umpire now, and the score goes on to 10 for 1.
Yes, and that also would put some provision there for the Leeward Islands, 1 more to their total. They obviously looking for a good partnership between these two, Melissa Clark and Saxena. But it is Melissa Clark who is on strike.
And she gets a delivery way wide down the leg side, called and signaled by the umpire. And so the score will move on to 11 for 1 in over number 4. And we've seen this from Calendar. She did bowl one very wide down the leg side that went for 4, and one equally wide of the offside. So wide, in fact, that it hit the pitch on the other pitch on the square. Here is she, and this delivery is bringing Clark forward, plays it down the track on the onside, no runs. And I'm sure that the fans in Barbados have been following this women's team closely, and they have really performed well. They have won their matches comfortably. Calendar once more to bowl to Clark. This one is wide down the leg side, beautifully taken by the keeper. She had to go diving away to her left and pulled off a save. That would have resulted in more runs, but well done by Casey Knight to restrict that just to the wide.
Yes, indeed, it was well taken. She had to go very far to her left, and she brought it in with one glove, so she actually saved 4 wides. Well, let us see what Calendar will do with this delivery now.
12 for 1. This one is on the off stump, played away towards the fielder at cover. No runs.
And in the encounter between Trinidad and Tobago and Barbados, right here at Warner Park, in the opening encounter, I think Bruce it was who had some difficulties when she opened the attack, where she conceded a few wides, and now is Calendar experiencing the same thing.
Bowls to Clark, gets one on the legs, plays it down to mid-wicket, no runs. Leewards batting first, 12 for 1, losing the wicket of Saneldo Willett for no score.
Well, thus far, the pitch have shown signs of even bounce consistently, so the Leewards can apply themselves and try to really put a good total on the board.
Here's a delivery, full length, and Clark is blocking it nicely away in the offside, brings up the end of the over, and at the end of it, the Leewards are 12 for 1, 4 overs completed. Saxena is on 2, Melissa Clark is on 1, Willett went for no score.
Yes, and the Leewards elected to bat, and quite rightly so. And now losing Willett without scoring. 12 is the total, 1 wicket down. Alison Gordon is going to continue from the southern Orlozak Road end.
With about 24 pigeons behind her, bowls a delivery to Saxena, which is outside the off stump. She's trying to play it square. Misses, well taken by the keeper.
And even though that one made some height too, the keeper who is standing up, is Casey Knight, is doing a good job. She gathered it well. And
Gordon once more from the far end. And she's behind this one, trying to turn it into the onside. It evades everybody. Keeper, batter, touches nothing, and goes for 4 wides.
so ill-directed delivery there from Alison Gordon on that occasion. But 4 more to the total for the Leewards, coming by wides. So they are now 17 for 1. Willett was the first wicket going down and the only wicket thus far.
Gordon once more, and this delivery again, she's playing and missing. That back foot didn't move at all, didn't come across the cover, and now she's being called by her partner Melissa Clark, and they'll have a couple of words. Saxena, after the delivery down the leg side, it didn't trigger as much.
Yeah, she's a right-hander, and her right foot was not moving across with her front foot, which is the left, but she defended well on that occasion from that delivery. No runs added to the total. It is 17 for 1, the Leewards, after winning the toss and decided that they will bat. 4.3 overs thus far. CG, Insurance, United, Super 50.
Here is Gordon to bowl to Saxena. She's bowled. Delivery which she was trying to flash away, played all around it, and her off stump was knocked out of the ground by Gordon, and so the Leewards in further trouble. Saxena didn't seem to settle at all, and played mostly big shots during her stay at the crease, and just a matter of time. Didn't touch it, went straight through, knocked out the off stump, and the Leewards are now 17 for 2.
Yeah, and Saxena went right across the line of a delivery that was pitched.
Well, we told you about Barbados and their progress so far, and so we should relate the Leewards' progress as well. In the last game, they won the toss and asked Trinidad and Tobago to bat. Trinidad and Tobago responded with 253 for 6. Leewards didn't get a chance to bat as that game was abandoned because of rain. We have lost the services of the monitor, Victor. He is hoping that it will come back up quickly. It is Gordon, bowls a full delivery, which is stroked down to cover. No chance of a run. And this looks like Edwards, who is out there now facing Gordon. Amanda Edwards, who has a high score of 72. Faces Gordon, and for this delivery, it's pitched wide of the off stump, goes off the keeper, down to slip, no chance of a run, over completed, and at the end of the over. It's 17 for 2.
Yes, 17 for 2, and the Leeward Islands, after winning the toss, not off to a good start, losing 2 wickets already, while Barbados continuing their outstanding performances in all areas of cricket in this Super 50 Insurance CG Super 50 Regional Women's Cricket Tournament. Well, Calendar is going to continue from the northern end. She has been guilty of bowling a few wide deliveries.
Bowls to Clark, who is behind it, plays it off the outer portion of the bat. It rolls back towards slip, and there is no chance of a run. So the Leewards won the toss and decided to bat, and have lost 2 wickets for 17 so far. Calendar, delivery down the leg side, it's a wide, and so the score will move on to 18.
Yes, wides are coming a bit consistent now from more so Calendar operating from the northern end, and the Leewards advancing their total now on to 18 it is for the loss of 2 wickets.
Calendar, bowling to Clark, gets close to the stumps. This one is turned down backward of square. The fielder comes chasing off the long leg boundary, and they'll have a single to push the score on to 19. And Melissa Clark has moved up now to 2. And Amanda Edwards will come up to take strike.
Well, used to have to do some rebuilding here for the Leeward Islands, but Calendar will have other ideas operating from the Seaport, Southwell, Northern or Media Centre end.
Short, and she's swinging at this one is Edwards. She's given out, caught at the wicket. Short delivery down the leg side. Edwards was having a waft at it, and it came off the edge, to well collected by the keeper. Easy catch, soft dismissal. Leewards in further trouble, 19 for 3.
Yes, and really 19 for 3, the Leeward Islands, after winning the toss and decided to bat, and they go further into trouble here, and Barbados players all assembling together, having their discussion as to how they will approach the incoming batters for the Leeward Islands. As I say, a pleasant good morning to all who is following the CG Insurance Regional Cricket Tournament, and especially those of you in Barbados. We greet you with the news that Barbados really head and shoulders above everyone else in this competition so far, and really in all areas of the game has been outstanding. And it continues right here at the Warner Park International Cricket Stadium. CG Insurance Regional Super 50 Women's Cricket. Barbados are the defending champions, and they are really playing the way that defending champions should really be playing. And Carlisle, the Leeward Islands, finding themselves into further trouble, but somewhere along the line they need a very valuable partnership if they're going to post a good total for Barbados to chase.
Trouble is that they have gotten out to some very soft dismissals, Victor.
Yeah, I would agree with that too, because the last wicket going down, I mean, just, you know, it was a loose delivery, but Calendar got the result. Well, there is a new batter now at the crease who is, when the left-hander. Yeah, but the Barbados getting 3 wickets, so they will be pleased with their start after the Leeward Islands won the toss and decided that they will bat first. Calendar is operating from the northern end. And one just within the parameters of the tram line, so that would not be considered as a wide. quite an interesting field placement too. And their keeper standing back, their first and second slip, a fielder on the third man boundary. There's a point, a cover, a mid-off, a mid-on, a mid-wicket, and a fielder on the long leg boundary. Calendar, she's at the top of her mark now. That was pitched outside the off stump, well, short pitched outside the off stump. The batter was not interested. That concludes the over. So it is 19 on the board, 3 wickets down for the Leeward Islands. 19 the total, 3 wickets down. The Leeward Islands won the toss right here at Warner Park. It's the CG Insurance Super 50 Regional Cricket Tournament. And it is Barbados. It's the Leewards against Barbados right here at the Warner Park International Cricket Stadium. Casey Knight standing up under the stump for Alison Gordon. And she has been very efficient and very reliable, very skillful in that approach, standing up to the medium pacer. Of that delivery from Alison Gordon, there was a shout, but not really convincingly. It might have been just because the ball got past the batter's bat. Well, 19 it is for 3 with Melissa Clark is on 2 of 17 deliveries, and Teresa Parker is the batter rejoined, and here is one played down to mid-on, and there is no run. So 19 it is for 3 after 6.2 overs. The Leeward Islands batting first here at Warner Park against Barbados.
And Gordon is in a 4th over, has picked up 1 for 7 and has been steady. Bowls to Clark, who is getting 1 on the legs. Hit full, given out by the umpire. More trouble for the Leewards. Melissa Clark goes back LBW for 2, and the Leewards in real trouble, 19 for 4.
Yes, and really, to the extent where Alison Gordon bowled, that one was a Yorker length, and it struck the batter full plumb. So another wicket going down for the Leeward Islands. So it is 19 runs on the board, 4 wickets are down. The Leeward Islands won the toss and really not putting on a good performance here against Barbados. Well, number 28 sporting on the back of the jersey going out into the middle, and these two having a conversation here as the batter makes her way to the striker's end. So the Leeward Islands, when and where would a partnership come from?
Victor, I keep telling people that cricket is hard work. Cricket, as you well know, you have to be fit. It doesn't matter whether you're playing 50, 20, the longer versions of the game, you must bring a level of fitness. And I'm not too sure if these ladies coming off a Leeward Islands tournament, followed by a camp, followed by these matches with only a day's rest in between, if these ladies are now seeing the signs of fatigue. Delivery outside the off stump, and Moses allows it through to the keeper, who is standing up, no runs, and the score remains 19 for 4. We're in over number 7.
Yes, and so true, Carlisle Powell, in terms that personal commitment too in getting yourself fit for matches is very important, apart from when you get together as a team. But that individual work is very important, because once you're an athlete, that is the first priority, is to get yourself conditioned for all the level of matches that you'll be playing, even before actually a tournament comes up. And once you are into cricket, you should be in a fit condition and try to get every available opportunity to play cricket.
Last ball of the over, and here is Moses steering it down to slip, knocked down by first slip. And at the end of the over then, The Leewards are 19 for the loss of 4 wickets. And Victor, you have to love the look of this Barbados team and the commitment. They have already won the competition, but there is no letting up. And it shows the level of this discipline, determination, and hard work put in by the Barbados team.
Yes, and collectively as a unit, they have really demonstrated that they are the defending champions and they have truly played or been playing as defending champions should be playing in all areas of the game. And in terms of the level of fitness too, that also comes into the equation for all the teams. But the defending champions, they're really well organized, and thus far they deserve to be the champions as they are right now. But it is calendar.
And this one is wide, very wide of the off stump. And the Leewards will get run number 20, compliments of a wide.
Yes, and calendar has been having challenges with her deliveries, not getting the majority on the wicket to make the batters play. But she'll try again. Probably the new ball also too, it is something that...
Wide again, down the leg side. And the Leewards will say thank you to run number 21. 4 wickets down.
Yes, and probably Haley Matthews might be thinking something else now because she just had a few words with her keeper. Probably it could be a concern about trying someone from this rather than recognizing that calendar is not really getting the majority of her delivers wicket to wicket.
She bowls to Parker, and this one is turned away into the onside. Mid-wicket comes up to field, no runs.
21 total the Leeward Islands after winning the toss and batting firstly against Barbados. 21, 4 wickets down. The Leeward Islands continue on a pathway where they have not been performing well in this tournament, and that contributes to many factors. But we will have that conversation later on, as here is calendar.
Wide of the off stump, missed by the keeper this time. They have crossed for 1, will come back for a second, I'm sure. And so those 3 runs will put the Leewards to 24 for the loss of 4 wickets. And Parker has picked up 2 for 17. She's in her 4th over. And Victor, I would dare say that more than half of the 17 runs conceded by Parker have come in wides plus that no ball that she bowled.
Yeah, and really, that is the top score so far. 24 for 4, though.
She has sent down 4 deliveries in the over. 3 of them have been wide so far. She bowls to Parker. And for this delivery, it's wide of the off stump. The umpire keeps her hands down, no signal of a wide. It must have been close.
It had to be close. Well, the pigeons from the southern end has flown away. When a ball went down there, it dispersed the flock of pigeons that were there on the southern end. No doubt they were finding some sort of food there probably.
As calendar again runs away from us and bowls to Parker, and she's getting a good one, feeling at it outside the off stump, probably withdrew her bat at the last moment. We'll give her some credit. It's 24 for 4, the Leewards batting first, weighing over number 8.
Yes, and Parker is on strike, and Moses is the non-striker. She has not received a delivery as yet. Well, calendar not getting it right. Probably sometimes Carlisle, some persons are better when the ball do not have that sheen on it. But anyway, you have to adjust and practice. But anyway, within the tram lines, so the umpire is just indicating to her square leg umpire about the deliveries that are left in the over. So 24 for the Leewards in total. 4 wickets are down though after winning the toss, and really Barbados would be thinking of really making further inroads. Calendar moves away from the northern end.
And the bowls to Parker. And she's playing this one in the air on the offside, drops safely, no chance of a run. Barbados hunting for more wickets. They have already picked up 4. It's 24 for 4, having sent back Wicket, Saxena, Edwards, and Clark.
Yes, and Therese Parker and Ann Moses, they will have to try and put a partnership together for the Leeward Islands. Well, Calendar will have other ideas operating from the northern end.
And goes away from us. She's over the wicket. Bowls one which is down the leg side. Taken. She played right around it, Parker. Hit her on the foot. But that would have missed another 2 or 3 leg stumps. And so it's the end of the over. Finally, Leewards winning the toss and batting first after 8 overs at 24 for the loss of 4. Therese Parker is on no score. And with her, Shehan Moses on no score.
Yeah, and the thing is that Parker should have been trying to hit that last delivery through the onside, but she struck around it. But luckily for her, it wasn't between wicket and wicket. But Alison Gordon, who has been amongst the wickets for the tournament, she continues to operate from the southern end.
Bowling to Moses. This is wide down the leg side, missed by the keeper. And they have crossed for 1. The keeper from the fielder from fine leg is across and stops it before it goes across the boundary. But the wide and the 1 which they run will put the Leewards to 26 for 4, weighing over number 9. And Gordon from the far end has picked up 2 for 9 from her 4 previous overs.
Well, and Extras is the top scorer so far out of the 26 for 4 wickets. The Leewards, after they won the toss, the Leeward Islands, and decided that they will bat, but have not proven why from their decision, because 4 wickets are back in the pavilion, 26 on the board.
As here delivery, wide of the off stumps, played away by Parker, and well saved at slip by the skipper Matthew, and the score remains 26 for 4.
Yes,
we've been joined, Victor, by Troy Biff Mills, and we'll allow him to catch his breath, and then he'll join you at the end of this over. As Gordon bowls again to Parker, who is getting a delivery which is in swinging, tries to play it away into the offside, and turns down a run. Was she indicating that she didn't attempt to play that, or that she simply wasn't concentrating? The Leewards could use every run that they can get.
Yes,
they're 26 for 4.
In these circumstances, 26 total, 4 wickets down, so they need to look for every available run. But Gordon Allison, she will have other ideas.
And Parker is playing this one, trying to cut it, plays it from the outer half of the bat, and they'll get a single as third man comes off the boundary, and that run will take the Leewards to 27 for 4. And Parker gets a first run from 12 deliveries. Shehan Moses, with number 28 on her back, comes up to take strike. Alison Gordon, 2 for 10. She's in a 5th. And for this delivery, she's tearing it out into the onside. Is Moses, finds the fielder at backward point, and no runs. Leewards against Barbados at Warner Park. CG United Ladies 50 over tournament. This is the 5th and final round. Barbados already the champions. Delivery which is wide of the off stump, signaled wide, and the score goes on to 28. So Extras easily the top scorer in this game so far.
And Alison Gordon was the one who has not really conceded too many wides. Most of the wides came from Calendar, who were operating from the northern end, and Gordon, who is operating from the southern end.
Suppose I tell you that the current partnership is 9, and of those 9 runs, Therese Parker has scored 1, Shehan Moses 0, the other 8 are Extras.
So Extras are top scoring in various areas here, and Barbados really playing as how defending champions should be playing. And here is a delivery which is defended by Shehan Moses. That has completed the over by, for now, Carlisle Powell, and joining Victor Eddy would be Troy Biff Mills. And a pleasant good morning to Troy Biff Mills. And Troy, the Leeward Islands won the toss, decided that they will bat first, the Leeward Islands, and after 9 overs, 28, but 4 wickets are down, and the Leewards continues in the areas where they have not been performing well throughout the CG Super 50 Women's Regional Tournament. Pleasant good morning to you, Troy.
Good morning, Victor, and good morning to the viewers online. And we say congratulations to the champions of the CG United Insurance Super 50 competition, organized by the West Indies Cricket Board. Barbados having won the competition with 1 match to play. And they're coming up against the bottom place Leeward Islands team. They have played 4, they're yet to win. And winning the toss this morning, and in some trouble, 28 for 4, 9 overs, not a very good position, but they're fighting on a current run rate of 3.11, Victor.
Yeah, they're in big trouble. A choice of words. In these circumstances, I think this is big trouble here for the Leeward Islands, as you quite rightly say, they have not been performing well. But after winning the toss here against Barbados, the Leeward Islands, they are 28 for 4.
Parker, 1 from 12, and Moses, she's yet to score from 6 balls, and they're going to have to do some work. They basically into the middle order, as we've seen a change of bowling. This one on about the leg stump, there's a loud appeal, very confident indeed, but the umpire unmoved, perhaps thinking that one might be going down the leg side, Victor.
Yes, indeed, Troy, and you yourself who wears many caps, you're also an umpire of a high caliber, and sometimes I would like to believe that the wicket keepers give a little indication when they're moving down the leg side, also can be a little guideline. So anyway, here is no guidelines in that one.
Outside the leg stump going down. No, I don't know if that was a little wider than the previous one.
Well, the thing is, there's a change of bowling here from the northern end. Opening was Calendar. I think this should be Selman. We'll wait and see when she turns her back. No? Number 78. Yeah, okay.
That is Ali, right arm over. And coming forward, flicking that one down to the leg side, down to fine leg. They run through for a single. And Parker, she goes up to 2. A well-needed one by the Leeward Islands.
Yes, and all runs in all areas. However, the Leeward Islands will welcome them, because at this present moment they are in big trouble. 30 it is on the board, 30 runs, 4 wickets down. The Leewards won the toss. But here is Alian. She's going to look for wicket number 5.
Right arm over. This one outside the off stump. Watching it cautiously through to the keeper is Moses. She will not be pulled into any indiscretion at this point. We've seen that happening quite a bit, Victor.
Well, the thing is, too, that 1 or 2 of the dismissals this morning that went down to loose shots, in our view, but we'll hope that the Leeward Islands can have some sort of revival. Well, another one to the total, which comes by wide. So all the bowlers thus far has some difficulties with the wide. I'm not too certain if the sheen of the ball may be a factor where they are not probably gripping it appropriately, or their hands might just be a little slippery because it's very hot out there in the middle. Brilliant sunshine.
Aline working again for Barbados. And this one outside the off stump and going at it. Not moving the left foot, Victor, just coming across with the right foot and sticking the bat out there, inviting an edge.
Well, the little I understand about batting is that both feet should be moving to try to get in line to play the deliveries. And really, all of these areas of play is going to be a learning process for everyone, and the batter would not be any different. But this time, though, she plays the accomplished orthodox defensive stroke, and if there is a maker's name on the face of that bat, the fielder at short cover would have seen the name written.
The little you know of cricket. If you know a little about cricket, what do you say about me? A little about batting, Victor. What do you say about me? And the most correct coming forward, textbook defensive style, and it's Aline again from the CA Paul Southwell Media Centre end. Tossing that one up a little further. Coming forward again is Moses. She's yet to get off the mark. It brings up the end of the over. 31 for 4, the Leeward Islands.
Yes, and El Comido Willet, good morning to you and to everyone in Nevis and throughout the Leeward Islands. But my very good friend and former teammate, and at times we had some different contests. But here it is CG, Regional Women Cricket Tournament, and these two batters for the Leeward Islands, who is Shea Ann Moses, who has faced 10 deliveries, have not provided the scorers to put anything to her name as yet. And Therese Parker, 14 deliveries for her 2 runs. The Leeward Islands, after 10 overs, they are 31 for 4 after winning the toss. CG Insurance Regional Super 50 Women's Tournament. And Troy, the Leeward Islands, they will have to find a partnership somewhere along the line. If they should at least get past 100, these two will have to try and make a grand effort.
And it seems a change in bowler, Victor. As Selman is it, she comes in just about leg stump, looking to turn that one around the corner is the left-handed Moses. It comes, actually, she did turn it around the corner, coming off of the glove, and she goes off to 3 runs with the score advancing to 32 for 4 from 10.1 overs. And we can tell you, the Jamaicans versus the Windward Islands at Connery, Jamaica winning the toss. They are 34 for 2 after 11 overs. And that one is full. Is it going to be a no ball? There's an appeal, but pulling that one down to the fine leg region, well, actually trying to pull, coming off of the body, so that will be a leg by. The umpire perhaps thinking, wondering, were it going on to hit the stump, but convincingly, and it wasn't. So leg by signal, 33 for 4.
Yes, and really, Therese Parker, she's on 3 after facing some 15 deliveries, while Shea Ann Moses, who is not yet off the mark, she is on strike now, facing deliveries. She has, pardon me, it is Parker who is on strike, and Shea Ann Moses, the non-striker, has faced 11 deliveries, is not yet off the mark. 33 total, 4 wickets down for the Leewards. They won the toss and batted first. Well, Williams is operating from the southern end.
And that one outside the leg stump, signal wide. But there was Parker tried to pull around the corner.
I am yet, though, and it makes me to think, what can be the reasons why the percentage of wides by Barbados, though, in this innings thus far has been of a high percentage? I wonder what might be contributing for the bowlers not getting it more consistently wicket to wicket, but we'll wait and see.
Right arm over the wicket to the left-hander, and again a wide. Basically a similar ball, Victor, and I dare say the 6 teams, the females, they have been bowling quite a high percentage of wides. So perhaps it's not something limited to just one team, but to the discipline of the cricket, the female sector. No disrespect to the females. So it gives the opportunity, the coaches, a very good opportunity for something to work on. And it's Williams again, into the left-handed Parker. Sheer boards.
Yes, and that is obvious that it would give the coaches areas. They will examine, obviously, all the areas, but in the bowling segment of the cricket, they will play they will pay close attention to that aspect. Well, this one was more a well-directed delivery on the stumps by Williams, and no runs in the end. And the total is now 35 for 4. The Leewards Islands up against Barbados. The Leeward Islands won the toss and bravely decided that they will bat, but not a brave total on the board at the moment.
Williams, and this time it is Parker connecting, and she pulls it down to fine leg. Hands go up on the head. Perhaps half a chance, quarter chance, Victor, from your vantage point. And
well, it didn't go to hand. The fielder made a valiant effort down there on the long leg boundary. It didn't go to hand. It was one bounce into the boundary, but it was struck hard also too. But a welcome boundary for the Leeward Islands, and being they need many more if they should put a substantial total on the board for the defending champions, Barbados.
39 for 4, the last ball of the over. That one again down the leg side, signal wide, going through to the keeper. And the score advancing to 40 for 4, still one ball remaining in the over. Parker, she's on 7. Moses yet to get off the mark.
Well, this might be one of the areas, obviously, it is one of the areas that the Barbados bowlers will have to work on, even though they are the defending champions. Williams is operating from the southern end because we have seen, more so specifically in this particular encounter right here at Warner Park, this possibly could be the highest percentage of wides that the Barbados bowlers have bowled thus far in this tournament.
And Williams outside the off stump, pulling away at that one. Is Parker getting it through to the mid-wicket region? Not really timing perhaps well, but getting 4 runs nonetheless.
Yes, well, it was placed well all along the ground, and it went into a welcome boundary for the Leeward Islands, which has been a very scarce commodity for all the Leewards at this present moment. But that was good use because it was a full toss, and she struck it into the mid-wicket boundary for 4. So 44 is the total, 4 wickets down, 11 overs have been completed, and 44 for 4. Barbados will be thinking that they have an excellent opportunity to get these 6 other remaining batsmen and probably have some time on the beach this afternoon.
Well, they have worked consistently well, the Barbadians, and guided by the captain. And 4 matches, 4 victories, convincingly, I might add. And they would want to dispatch the Leeward Islands very short order, like you said, and perhaps enjoy a very long day at the beach. But the Leeward Islands will have other intentions.
Well, they should have, and really after winning the toss, that no doubt they went with a plan, and always with a plan whether winning or losing the toss, but more so. And now another run to the total coming by a wide. So this part of the tournament for Barbados in their bowling contingent, though, I think it could well be the highest percentage of wides that they have bowled in the tournament so far.
Perhaps. Maybe they're too anxious. And it's Aline again in the try. Outside the off stump. Very close to a wide outside the off stump. This time, Victor, as opposed to down the leg side where they have been bowling.
Well, the tram lines are there, but there is no way that the batter was going to reach that one. And I have had conversations with many persons, Troy, that as the game has evolved over the years, that's cricket for so long, I think sometimes too they can start considering looking at some rules and regulations in the game, because just outside the off stump, but just going down the leg side and not touching no part of the batter's body or bat is considered a wide, and, you know. But cricket is a batsman's game.
That wide would have changed over the years like anything else. At one point, if the ball was beyond about, I think it was a foot sometime back, down the leg side, then it would have been a wide. And here is Aline bringing Moses forward. That one popping up. The field going up perhaps in sheer optimism more than anything else, Victor. Asking the umpire a question.
Well, the thing is, anytime, as you would know better than I do as an umpire, once the bowler and the wicket keeper is shouting for a leg before decision, most of the times it is out. But on this occasion, the Leewards cannot afford losing any more wickets right now. They really need a partnership because we can tell those of you who might just be joining us that 45 for 4 the Leewards here at Warner Park against Barbados after the Leewards won the toss. 45 is the total. 4 wickets are down.
And as Aline comes in once more, coming forward, trying to work it around the corner, not getting much contact on it. The ball popping out into the very, very short mid-wicket, and it's fielded there. And perhaps Leeward Islands only having one batter in the top 10, Victor. That's an indication of their performances with the bat. Deviana Saxena, she is 91 runs in the 10th position. And this one outside the off stump, again very close to a wide. Not being called so, however, by Carolyn Brown of Jamaica. It's the end of the over, the end of the 12th over, 45 for 4.
Yes, and Barbados off to a good start. The Leewards off to a bad one. The bowling figures, 5 overs for Alison Gordon, 27 dots. Wow, so that's a high percentage. But she too has been in the wickets column of the tournament, Alison Gordon, and also other Barbados bowlers too in the wickets column. So, but this obviously, Corey Collymore, who is one of the coaches of this Barbados team, obviously they would be having a closer examination as to why the bowlers conceded that high percentage of wides and work on those areas. But there's going to be a bowling change from the southern end.
And this is going to be, is it Elliott?
It could be Elliott, the wrist spinner.
And she's been picking up some wickets as well.
Yes,
that one a little short, going straight through to the keeper. And what I find with wrist spinners, Victor, when they're on, they're really on, but when they're off, they're off. And sometimes, most times perhaps, they take quite a while to get on.
Well, the thing is, with whether you're right hand, back of the hand, or left arm, it is the more difficult of the art of spinners to really get that control. So it takes a lot of practice, a lot of practice. Well, all areas take practice, but especially as a spinner and bowling right arm, leg break and googlies, it takes a lot of practice. But as you quite rightly say too, when they start, if they hit a length, they can pose a lot of challenges, but if not, they can also concede many runs. But so far, Elliott, though, finding a reasonable line of length, but we can see some purchase that she's getting from the surface.
Definitely. Tall, lanky, comes in from the Lozak Road end. And that one looks like the googly turning in this time, Victor.
Yeah, well, and once, too, that bowlers like Kelly Elliott, once she has that variety, too, it can give the batters more challenges. But challenge in the sense where Parker is getting a full toss and gets a run. The field at mid-wicket did not field cleanly, but in the end, the Leewards got a well-deserved run, carries the total on to 46 for the loss of 4 wickets.
Parker 12 from 25, Melicia Clark, she had 2 from 19, Deviana Saxton, 2 from 10. So not being able to get to that 100 runs, that 3 figure, and it's the end of the over. And perhaps it's a good thing that the Leeward Islands would have batted, Victor, because when you're having 5 Bajans in the top 10 in the batting, well, 5-4 actually, Keshona Knight in the number 1 spot with 275 runs. Haley Matthews, captain, second, 177. And we have down in the 5th position, Elia Aline, 113. And Casey Knight, 104 down in number 8. So perhaps a good decision to bat. And here is Aline outside the off stump. And Parker, the left-hander, allowing that to go through to the keeper.
There's always been a concern for me, Troy Mills, in that I always believe to bowl on the side where you can see the full target of the three stumps. Like, well, but then every bowler would have reasons why they will bowl at particular sides, whether over or around. But when I played, I prefer bowling on the side. Well, as a left-hander is in and as a right armer to go around the wicket to have a clearer vision of the three stumps.
What I'm not seeing happening much, Luther, forgive me,
It's all
Victor,
right. That's all right.
is the bowlers moving, using the crease as it were. I remember when umpiring renowned playing, you would have delivered balls from almost behind me, a little wide. Virgil Newton, playing for Haynes Paint, would have done the same. Barbie Dixon and Neville Weeks for Sandy Point would have also been using the crease, but we're not seeing that. I haven't seen it done in this tournament, neither even in the local cricket.
Well, that's an interesting observation by
Wide signal here by
another one to the total.
umpire Brown. The score goes on to 46 for 4 from 13.3 overs.
Well, 47 actually now.
47.
47 now with another bonus to the Leeward Islands. And the bonuses is the highest performance at this present moment. 47 for 4. 4 wickets are down. But speaking about those deliveries and delivering it from not the normal 22 yards, but 24. Sometimes,
And this one,
well,
again wide, the keeper diving to the right, saving at least a couple, perhaps a boundary.
and this is one of the areas to try whereby when spinners would be doing that. Now, you as a coach, what would you suggest to the batters who are to go in as to how to negotiate those deliveries when you see the spinner is going to bowl it from not the 22 but the 24? What would you suggest?
You'll have to learn the bowlers. And this one a little fuller outside the off stump and swiping away. Is Parker missing it? Looking to hit that one to the mid-wicket region, but not connecting. I remember the first time that happened to me. I would have been standing up to the stump, my regular position, and next thing I'm seeing the ball going down the pitch and I'm not seeing the bowler because I'm looking for the overstep in the ball. So then when I realized what happened, I stood back and I started learning, oh, Victor does this, so I have to be aware when he's bowling. And this one on the stumps, a little short and popping up, getting some height. And Parker coming forward and plays it around the corner. No harm done.
And one of the things about that kind of technique too is practice, and you have to practice it regular and often.
Of course.
Not just try to do it in a match when you are playing, but you have to practice it. So when you go into a match now, you will have the confidence that you can bowl those deliveries. But here we are, back with the action out in the middle. 48 for 4 after what, 14 overs gone, and Terrace Parker 12 of 31 deliveries, Melissa Clark 2 of 19, Saxena, but we'll get back to that. 48 for 4, the Leeward Islands won the toss. I think we're going to have a refreshment break now, but we could tell our viewers that you are witnessing CG Insurance Regional Super 50 matches being played here in St. Kitts. At Warner Park today, we have the Leeward Islands up against the now champions already, even with a game to go, Barbados, who came here as the defending champions. And up to now, they really demonstrated that they are the defending champions. But the only thing that I have observed where they would have fallen off a little was by the high percentage of wides, but Troy will give us also some updates of scores at the other venues, which are at the Connery Cricket Centre and at St. Paul's. But here at Warner Park, the Leeward Islands winning the toss against Barbados. The players are now having a refreshment break, but the total 48 for 4, Troy. The Barbados team, they are in a commanding and strong position as the ground staff is now doing some regardening of the creases, sweeping and remarking the creases.
Jamaica winning the toss at Connery and batting versus the Windward Islands. They are 45 for 3 for the loss after 17 overs. And we have Scott. She's 2 from 25. And do I have this? Nation, she's 9 from 16. Afi Fletcher, 2.2 overs. She's picked up 1 wicket for 5 runs. The bowler right now. Nation is on strike. And down at St. Paul's, where Trinidad and Tobago, they were asked to bat by Guyana, who won the toss. They are now the Trinidadians 34 for 4 from 19.2 overs. So perhaps not too different a situation from them. They would have defeated the Trinidad and Tobago. They would have defeated Jamaica in a very close encounter after losing their first 2 matches. And then they went on to defeat the Leeward Islands as well. So they have 2 victories. Jamaica, they have only had the 1 victory so far. So the Leeward Islands in the cellar, Jamaica 5th. In second we have tied the Windward Islands with Trinidad and Tobago, and the runaway leaders, Barbados.
Yes, quite an interesting tournament so far, and positions of teams. Well, the umpire just indicating the power play, and Kalia Elliott is gonna continue from the southern end, right wrist spinner. But speaking about those deliveries from the back of the crease, it's more so an intention to try and induce the batsman to go into the stroke earlier than normal. That was one of the things. I remember in the last CPL, when Ian Bishop were here, we met in the restroom downstairs at the same time. So I asked him the question as to what he thinks is the reason why bowlers, spinners like Shamsi does that. And he said, Victor, I'm not going to make you a bad answer, but why ask me a question that you know?
and you're most correct. The ball being in the air a little longer, coming from a little further, and the batters, they're accustomed to play ball at a certain speed, but then taking a little longer, playing the shot early, and anything can happen. Rap on the pad, coming and taking an edge. And especially from some pace bowlers would have done that. And perhaps it's a tool not used too often.
Yeah, well, Derek Perry and El Comido did that too, and Noel Gishad and so forth. Those guys did that. And El Comido Willett, if you have a conversation with him, he'll tell you one thing about Victor Eddy. He's a very cautious guy. So I try to be cautious on the mic.
It's Elliott once more. Into Moses, who is yet to get off the mark after 20 deliveries. Make that 21. Playing that one back down the track.
But the important thing in this tournament, though, Troy Mills, and to all our viewers, is about everyone will learn in areas where they can improve and go and practice, because where you get results is how much work you put in. And like our good friend Carlisle Powell have said, that cricket is hard work, and one of the hard parts of the work is to get yourself physically fit. That personal commitment and work is very important. So that was a very good observations of the many that Carlisle Powell makes when he's on air or even off air. And that is the basic, to me, the fundamental point of any athlete, and more so cricket now, because there are 3 areas of cricket, which is the 50 overs, and then you have the 2020, which relates to as the exhibition, and test match is the examination. That is my personal analogy. But anyway, we are back here, and we greet our viewers with the news that the Leeward Islands are up against Barbados, who have already won the tournament, but 48 for 4 after winning the toss. So I know that the Leeward Islands had intentions to get the better part of the pitch, but the batters have not applied themselves by playing the deliveries on its merit. They had some loose deliveries, but they got the results. Well,
and here is Aline outside the off stump, swiping away, trying to bang that one into the offside, but missing completely.
Well,
Aline has bowled 3.1 overs. She's yet to bowl a maiden, 18 dot balls, 6 runs. Well, yet to pick up a wicket, Victor, at an economy rate of 1.89.
That is a very high percentage of dot balls. But anyway, here is another one. No, though. One more to the total. The Leeward Islands will welcome it, and also a no ball, so a free hit. And that is, again,
double whammy, so to speak, because that one, were it not to have been a no ball, would have been a wide because it did go down the leg side, but the no ball obviously would proceed. So it's going to be a free hit and the one run nonetheless.
But Troy, as you also too is an umpire in your own right, and since the free hit has been introduced, and for the matches that you have seen internationally, locally, regionally, how many times have you seen a batter out off of a free hit by the run out? It's rare?
No, I don't recall having seen it. I've seen catches taken, and obviously they would not have been. And that one goes back on the stump, Victor. Pulling away was Parker, missing it. It came off the body, trickled back on the stump. So that will be recorded as bold. What a tough way to get out.
But I thought Parker would have made an effort to try and stop the ball. She actually looked around, and she had enough time to probably use a little foot soccer technique or so. But that was not to be. The fifth wicket going down for the Leeward Islands. It is now 49 for 5. And really, the Leewards backs big against the wall. And Barbados, who already have won this tournament, they continue to demonstrate why they are the winners.
Parker looking very dejected indeed, and walks a long walk back to the pavilion, notwithstanding she's the top scorer for the Leeward Islands so far. But the captain would have been counting on her along with Moses, who has been there faced just about 4 overs and still not off the mark. But in cricket, it shows a sign of patience.
And that is very important in all facets of life, and more so in cricket, that as a batter, there are times that bowlers will bowl many overs and it's difficult to score. But Troy, another interesting conversation I have had, that in more so when it's a 2020 encounter, I believe that when a team bowl at least 2 maiden overs in a 2020, something should be deducted from the batting team.
Very provocative suggestion there, but then that's a very interesting thought. 2 maiden overs and you deduct something from the batting team. But here is Aline. She aborts, and the score kept on 49 for 5, having just lost another wicket, 15.3 overs, and it is a 50 overs. At this rate, the projected score, Victor, is 158, which I perhaps may be very optimistic. A lot of optimism there, because with Leewards not really having strong batting performances, and that one is a wide again. And perhaps, Victor, just like how there's the free hit for a no ball, maybe the ICC and the MCC might need to start considering a free hit of some sort for the wide as well. Because once you bowl a wide, yes, you get the 1 run, but you also have the opportunity of not being out, caught as it were. And that one is another wide. So perhaps maybe they need to think about something similar. If there's a wide, you cannot be out caught.
Well, to how the game has evolved and so forth, it could be some conversations in cricket about some rules and regulations. Now, we are here to open up our ideas as the way forward. But this is Super 50 cricket, and 50 overs. When there is no interruption, but the Leeward's gonna get some more runs, and at the time the batters were thinking about too, but Haley Matthews, the captain, had the ball in hand, and that could have been even more suicidal if they attempted that and to go by the run out. But in a Super 50, as this tournament is, once there is no interruptions, 300 legal deliveries must be bowled. And that is a lot of deliveries.
Definitely. Kimberly getting her first run. And Moses, who is yet to score. She comes forward. She's looking good. Her technique is looking good. She's not managing to score any runs.
Well, try also
And
to
runs, precious runs that her team really needs.
Yeah, and really these two, because you see, there is still a lot of legal deliveries to be bowled. Yes, 5 wickets are in hand, but I think if the Leewards batters try to play each delivery on its merit and look for the loose deliveries and put them away like that full toss. But there again, I wondered why she went down on her knees when she should have been trying to go across the crease to hit it through cover. But
Alison Gordon, she has had 5 overs, 2 for 11. Asabi Calendar, 4 overs, 2 for 17. Alia Aline, 4 overs, 1 for 10. So far, the key bowlers for Barbados. And you're correct. She's guilty of not really coming across, but coming down the track. Were she to come across, she probably would have made contact and be able to get it through the covers mid-off for perhaps a boundary.
Well, obviously, this is areas whereby the coaches have to be very observant and making their notes as to the areas that they would see. That's for all teams, that is. Areas that they would see where they have to work on. And really, Elliot is working on the stumps.
And actually pulling a big hit from Anthony, who's just in, and I think that may have been the first ball she's faced from Elliot. So not really seeing what she's done, what she's doing, pitching up that one, going for a big hit over in the long on region, missing completely, and the ball going through, taking off the bails, and the Leewards, they sink further into the Maya at 52 for 6 from just 16.1 overs.
Yes, and our good friend Carlisle Powell, who is here with us, and it's been a welcome to Carlisle as to that he made himself available to be part of this broadcast. But Carlisle, I will be missing you a little earlier today, and in anticipation as it looks now. But you have been most welcome, and it's always a pleasure being by your side and really learning so much from your expertise, because we all learn from each other. So try, not because I have had more practical process in cricket. You have been close to cricket, you have played cricket, you have observed cricket, and sometimes, don't doubt it, you can make more valuable observations than I do, even though I was a player. So I am very cautious.
Indeed, Victor. I'm around the umpiring circle since 1984. And this is Elliot again, pulling the new batter, Roselle Leewards, forward. She plays it into the offside, and Elliot picking up her first wicket, 2.2 overs, very tight, just giving away 1 run so far. And here she's again, right arm spin and pulling that one in the air. Is it going to be out caught? No, running back was the fielder. They're going to get 2. A very good effort nonetheless at a catch. It's always difficult to catch a ball that is going in the same direction that you are.
And I wouldn't like to believe that any player would purposely not try to really take a catch. But in the circumstances, that might just have been a consideration on the fielder's part, really. Say, well, the Leewards give us a little more runs and so forth and so on. But no, that wouldn't come into the equation. But the right arm spinner in Elliot, and she and many others who is in that art form, I will advise them to really put a lot of practice sessions into their bowling. But here is an opportunity,
Valiant effort. They're going to get 2 at least. And a valiant effort by Leewards, perhaps telling herself that she's not really sticking around much. She's going to be going at it. And picking up 4 runs so far from 4 balls.
Yeah, and it is 56 for 6. The Leeward Islands, after winning the toss and batting first, and almost the 7th, almost chopped it onto the stumps. But the right arm spinner Elliot, that concludes her over. And Parker 35 deliveries, 12 runs. Russell Librard, 5 deliveries, 4 runs. Nelissa Clark, 19 deliveries, 2 runs. 56 for 6 is the total. Leeward Islands won the toss here against Barbados at Warner Park and decided that they would bat and have not really proven any valuable point in terms of batting first.
We're going to see another change in the bowling. Is it down here at the pavilion end? The media center end. And in all fairness to Leewards, a very young team in the competition. This competition has been going on quite a few years. Barbados would have won it a few times. And the Leeward Islands playing in the 4th or 5th year or thereabout.
But based on the time frame, of this tournament and the time that the Leewards would have had before coming into this tournament.
And it's Selman, Shakira Selman, her first ball to Moses, who is still yet to get off the mark and playing very cautiously, to use your words, Victor. She's taking a very cautious approach to the batting. Perhaps overly cautious, I may add.
Yeah, but in terms of the Leeward Islands, just with a month preparation before coming in, I would have also thought and shared that idea too, whereby it could have been much more appropriate having a camp, and also they are in training, and even get a rest team to play against them in the camp. And I believe that would have brought better results and a better performance in terms of the Leeward Islands preparation process. But to go into a Leeward Islands tournament, the relevance as to who wins that Leeward Islands tournament within that short space of time, I don't think that was a proper move to go into. It might have been much more a servant, whereby you identify the players, you have them in a camp, and get things going. But Selman is going now, and she gets going by giving another bonus to the Leewards by the wide. And really, wides are now the top scorer with the total at 57 for the loss of 6 wickets off of 17.2 overs. Sheann Moses, 27 deliveries, not yet off the mark. And Russell Librard, 5 deliveries, 4 runs. Leeward Islands really underperforming here in this tournament.
Selman into Moses, and that is a no ball. So the score will inch its way further onto 58, and they will have a free hit. But in all fairness to the Leeward Islands and the Leewards board, Victor, having those matches, that is much better than not having any matches and putting some names together, because yes, most of these players may have been around for the past 3-4 years, but some younger blood being introduced and give them an opportunity and some much needed practice.
But then, okay, to your point then, so your view then, Troy, if I'm understanding, I'm subject to correction, is that playing the tournament was more appropriate than going into a camp in terms of preparation and what can be coming into this tournament, by more so from my aspect as to identify the players, get them in the camp and play. But you're saying with the tournament, because they're going to get practice and so forth, and then pick a squad, which you only had, 4 or 5 days or a week before actually coming into the tournament, when you had your 14 or whatsoever selected.
Well, the positive for me is that all 3 teams would have had at least 2 practices match condition, and even though that to be done during the camp, they may not have had that many, and it depends on when they would have started. Were this to happen a week earlier, 2 weeks before, then the camp could have been longer. Perhaps it's an economic situation, we don't know. But I like the idea about those matches and then selecting the team with that 4 days of camp, and a practice match could have been had during that period, even 2, which amounts to the same thing that you were saying, but the camp period would have been longer.
Well, 58 it is for 6 here, as the Leeward Islands struggling against Barbados after winning the toss And that completes Selman's over. And after 18 overs, the total is 58 for 6.
Gordon 5 overs, 2 wickets. Calendar 4 overs, 17 for 2. Aline 4 overs, 10 for 1. Williams 1 over 12 without a wicket. So far the key bowlers for the Barbados team, using 6 bowlers as it were. And 58 for 6 after 18 overs. Not at all anything to write home about. But the good thing is that the Leewards, they are still batting. They are still there after winning the toss here at Warner Park. Lovely sunshine, a little overcast, but the sun is shining through in its brilliance nonetheless. And it's Elliott again pulling, was a lie, but down the track and coming off on the inner edge. Standing, wondering how she actually missed that was Elliott. But it's going to be Williams, Elliott. She has had 16 dot balls from her 3.1 overs. Picking up a single, playing that one square on the backward square. And advancing her personal tally to 5. Moses still on 0. 59 for 6 from the lot after 18.2 overs. Elliott pushing back Moses and hanging out the bat, allowing that one to spin through to the wicket keeper, giving her the credit for that.
She got some. Elliott getting some good bunks too. Well, she's reasonably tall, but that was a full toss and defended by Shehan Moses, 33 deliveries.
That was the being overly cautious that we were speaking about. That probably should have been put away. This one shot, trying to guide it into a backward point, connecting, but not with any force. And how pressurized it is for a batter to have faced 6 overs and not getting off the mark, Victor.
Well, you see, it comes to, again, a conversation in cricket whereby we can all have how the game has evolved, and that should be even more a benefit to the bowling team. The fielding team, that is, sorry. But, you know, it is a batsman game all the way, but I believe some things can be altered, but at the moment, it is what it is. 59 for 6, though, here at Warner Park. Barbados up against the Leeward Islands. The Leeward Islands are batting first after winning the toss, but they have 59 runs in total. 6 wickets are down. What 4 more batsmen can get in terms of a total? Can they get to the 100, Troy Biff Mills?
That'll be the target, but something interesting just happened, Victor. Elliott ran in, she bowled the ball, but then the umpire signaled dead ball. I'm only deducing from that may have been the 7th ball of the over, and we know the legal deliveries are 6. So she negated that delivery. As I welcome back Carlisle from our sister isle of Uali. We are able to see Uali a little better today. On Monday, there were a lot of clouds. It was basically white. And I'm not certain here in the park we got the rain actually with the amount of white we were seeing in the Nevis region and the Boardwalk. It's Selman into bowl to Leewards, who is on 5. And Carlisle, Leewards winning the toss, perhaps a good decision based on the batters in the top 4 for Barbados, I mentioned. But then put on the back foot from early, and still on the back foot, still on the ropes as it were.
59 for 6. They were bowled out for 59 against the Windies.
As we see, no ball again from Selman. Wides and no balls, more so the wides plaguing the female cricket, Carlisle.
I know when the score was 45 that Barbados had already sent down 30 extras. So I suspect that it would be closer to 40 by now.
And as I was suggesting to Victor, perhaps the rule needs to be looked at, just like how they have a free hit for the cricket. there should be a free hit for the wide as well. And that's again a no ball. This time pulling Roselle Leewards, getting a little excited down the track, missing, going through to the keeper.
It was a free hit, Troy.
Oh, yes, correct.
And she bowled another no ball. So this is another free hit.
Another free hit still in place, indeed. And as Victor and I were saying, I haven't seen too many runouts. One, maybe two runouts from free hits. And I have seen quite a few catches, but of course it wouldn't be out because it's a free hit. But I'm not seeing bowlers, the batters, too many times capitalizing on these free hits either.
True.
And it's Selman, another no ball again. So there's still the free hit. And perhaps that is why Leewards is swinging her bat. She seems to have some aggression from the time she came in.
She hit that one firmly, but it went straight to mid-off.
Exactly. And the skipper allowing Selman, who has some experience, to work out things for herself. She steps back, brings back her run up perhaps another half a step. And she'll try again from the Caleb Azariah Paul Southwell media center end. And that one not on the ball this time. Down the leg side, but Roselle going down the leg side as well, trying to make some contact with that, not being able to do so. The thing about it, Jamaica, they have not had the best of seasons. However, they have a batter in the number 3 spot, Natasha McLean, 150 runs with a highest of 59 not out, an average of 75. And that one getting a bit of bounce there over the stumps. And I'm not certain if Leewards was aware, but the keeper actually threw the ball at the stumps. It appears that she may have been off of her crease. So she tried to effect a run out there, and that ball actually went. The batters run for a signal. The umpires signaled dead ball, not realizing what was happening, the attempted run out as it were. So the ball remained live, even though it went through to the keeper.
Absolutely. And the run should count.
Yes.
And the umpire realized, and so yes, the run counts. The communication has been good with the umpires and the scorers and so on. The radio communication has been excellent.
That is key. And there's actually a light outside here at Warner Park that the scorers would actually put on to indicate that they've received the signal.
Like the last over when the 7th ball was being bowled, I'm sure that the scorers would have been on the radio to the umpire to say we have completed 6.
And I'm just hearing some celebration in the Leewards camp. Carlisle Moses has gotten off the back after some 37 balls. A bit of motivation and encouragement. But you're correct. Today with technology, we have a lot of means and ways, and the handheld radios, that is a key thing to reduce the errors and make sure the umpires get it right, and the umpiring and the scoring team, they get it right first time around.
Selman is being the one for running on.
Yes. Umpire Carolyn Brown of Jamaica protecting that area. Some bowlers, they would have been deliberately turning and doing all kind of things to assist the bowling from the other end. And here is Roselle going aerially. She's going to be out caught in a backward point position. Not really in control of the shot, Carlisle.
Played a shutter ball, Roselle Leewards. And she has gone for 5 from her 15 deliveries face. Leewards 7 down for 64. And we've just completed over number 20. And so winning the toss and batting first, Troy, I wonder if it had anything to do with the fact that they won the toss in the last game against Trinidad and Tobago, sent in Trinidad and Tobago, and then had to chase leather for 253 runs.
And, well, the first game against Jamaica, they would have batted and made 123 all out in about 28.4 overs. And yes, Jamaica knocked it off for 4 wickets in about 24 overs. And in Trinidad, they had a close game. There's some debaters to whether or not they should have won that game, losing by the 1 run, I think.
Against Guyana.
Against Guyana. Yes, forgive me. Trinidad had the close game against Jamaica. And it's only a matter of time. Once they keep playing, they will gain the experience, they will get better. And who knows, you may very well see Leewards in title contention in the next few years. These batters, they will have to keep working, and they will have to put in some personal development. What is not aiding, or what will probably help a lot, is if there were to be female competitions within the respective units. But you only have a handful of ladies playing cricket in St. Kitts, in Nevis, as it were. So it brings a beautiful opportunity to start playing it, even if you're having cricket festivals within the schools, primary school right up. It's going to be Elliott, 4.1, picking up 1 wicket, giving away 6 runs. A right arm wrist spinner, leggy as it's called, and that one goes down to the short third man, getting 1 and then an overthrow, sneak into 1, I should say, in the first instance, and now getting an overthrow, being very much aware of the batters, and perhaps sloppy fielding by the Bajan on that occasion.
And just like that, Shehan Moses picked up 3 runs. She's on to 3.
As easy as Sunday morning after facing some 37 balls, 36 without striking, picking up a run.
But good awareness by the non-striker, Troy.
Very much. And it's all about that. And the trust in the partner as well. And Moses Elliott bringing Moses forward, trying to whip that to perhaps a mid-on region not connecting. And perhaps now that she's off the mark, seems to have a little more aggressive intent. The way she's playing, looking to squeeze a single from almost every ball, Carlisle.
66 for 7, Leewards winning the toss and batting in over number 21.
Afi Fletcher of the Windwards, she's 4th in the rank. The batting rank, she has had 148 runs, and there's a quick single. Again, awareness, this time on the part of Moses. And it brings up the end of the over.
So what do you know? Moses, 3 runs in 1 over. That sounds like a century because she took, 36 balls to get off the mark. But the fact is that she's there. She has not given her hand away, and that gives the opportunity for her to score.
And I don't recall in the balls that I've seen her face, I don't recall seeing her getting into injudicious strokes. She coming forward in the approved manner, not really taking any chances. And perhaps now that she's off the mark, and she's on to the 3rd highest score in the innings, I think it is. Top score was 19, Leewards was 5, I think it was, and she's on 4. And the captain will want both of them to steady her, bat out the 50 overs. Chances are if they do that, they'll get to the 3-figure mark. Selman has other ideas and down the leg side, but this time passing between the batter and the stumps. So that won't be a wide, and the umpire speaking again about that danger area. She needs to stay wide.
Number of these batters are playing completely around the ball, Troy. They should be looking to play a lot straighter.
Very, very good observation. And if we're seeing that for this 50 over, what are we going to see for the T20? And I saw an article by someone indicating perhaps they need to done away with the T20 because it's affecting Test cricket. Because a lot of players not playing as technically correct as they should with Test cricket. They're bringing into the Test arena the strokes from the shots from the shorter versions, the T20, shortest. And outside the off stump, and Moses going at it, hanging the bat out there. I'm reminded of the adage, when you're going, go hard.
And the umpire again speaking to Selman. Troy, as an umpire, the rules are the rules.
Exactly.
And that there is a protected area which starts, 4 feet from the crease?
Yes.
The umpire has spoken to Selman on 4 separate occasions.
I think she's extremely fortuitous.
Exactly.
And she's really speaking, and
there she goes again.
And here goes the umpire again.
Ran straight down the pitch. And again, being given a word of caution by the umpire.
And the umpire extremely understanding. Yes, I don't think it may be intentional. However, like you said, the laws are the laws, the rules are the rules, and you have to abide by them. And she's going to work again for Barbados. And there she goes again, picking up a single this time, the batters. And was she on the danger area? Apparently not this time, Carlisle, perhaps close. And when umpiring, I normally tell the bowlers, hey, you didn't go on the danger area, but you were close. Yep. Similar to a no ball or wide, I also tell them. Sort of proactive umpiring. And some bowlers, perhaps it stems from the practice. When they're in the nets, they don't have anyone. Though they may have somebody standing in an umpiring position, they don't concentrate on the no balls and these sort of things. So you develop the bad habits, as it were, from the practice session and bring them into the game, Carlisle. Interesting one here. That one dropping outside the leg stump, apparently, sticking the pad out and turning, actually. And there's an argument that were that to be going on to the stump, that should be given LBW. Right now, it's not. But there's an argument. Why are you denying me the opportunity to get a wicket if it's a legal delivery and the batter uses the pad and going on to the stumps, and you're saying not out?
Umpire still having a conversation with Selman, and she is being very, very lenient with Selman, who is running, if not on, very close to the danger area. Leewards, 68 for 7, 22 overs completed. Tonya Martin is yet to score, and Shehan Moses is there on 5 from all of 48 deliveries.
And obviously the match referee having some interest in what is happening, because these occurrences must be reported. And it's going to be Haley Matthews, the skipper, coming in from the Lozak Road end. That one bringing Moses forward. Coming into the attack for the first time, Matthews, allowing her bowlers to get the practice, as it will, pick up some wickets. And that one, Carlisle, there's an appeal. Yes, it pitched outside. There wasn't a shot.
Height.
And perhaps
a little high.
And Haley would be definitely encouraged with that. Moses, 5 from, she has a half century, the number of balls she faced. She's only on 5. And she is kneeling and trying to play that, I'm not too certain where, not making proper contact, and it trickles out into the onside. One slip, a backward point, cover. Matthews once more. Going at that one outside the off stump, hanging the bat out there, as we've seen so often, Carlisle.
No harm done, no contact.
All is well that ends well, I think the saying is. And it's Matthews once more. This time coming forward, playing it into the covers. Looking good in defense is Moses. Still 5 from 53 balls.
Haley Matthews started the tournament slowly in terms of her bowling, but she's now third. Before this game, she was third in wickets and second in batting. So she's having a very good tournament.
Very, very good, and that will probably bring her out as perhaps the number one all-rounder for the tournament.
Easily.
And it's the end of the over, and Selman will continue her battle not only with the batters, but with the umpire and that danger area.
Yeah, but nothing official so far, because I didn't see the umpire signal to square leg to indicate that that is an official warning or the captain.
Exactly. Most correct, Carlisle. And it appears as if nothing, that ball was okay. And no doubt telling her, hey, that was a better ball this time. Because as umpires, you try to facilitate, you try to encourage preventative umpiring, as it were. You have to be proactive. You don't want to appear to be cooping any player, as we say locally. And here is Martin trying to whip that away, not making proper contact. And some degree of aggression is Martin. She has faced 3 balls so far. Selman, 3.2 overs, 7 runs, 1 wicket. The non-striker, Cheyenne Moses, she's faced 54 balls with only 5 runs to her name. And this one is popping up, and is it going to be taken? No, it's dropped short of the mid-off. Perhaps maybe being a little more attentive and being a little quicker might have been able to make a good chance of it. But the batters go through for a single as Martin gets off the mark.
And the Leewards push on to 69 for 7.
And the Bajans perhaps just going along, not really, it appears to me, being as aggressive as they can be. Perhaps knowing that the end is imminent anytime shortly.
Leading wicket taker in the tournament before the start of round 5, Keanu Joseph from the Windies with 16, Kelly Elliott from Barbados with 12, and in number 3, Haley Matthew with 9. She's joined by Selena White on 9 as well.
And Kiana would have picked up a hat-trick in her fifer a few matches back, Carlisle.
Stay with it, Shai, stay with it.
And it's good to see performances coming from players other than in the big 4, as it were. And again, the Windward Islands, their experience at this level is not really anything to jump and shout about. They've been just participating for the last few years as well. I remember the day when, and that's a quick single indeed, very good single, ball going backward point and scrambling, sprinting through for a single, as it was.
Gordon 2 for 11, 2 for 17 to Calendar, 1 for 9 from Elliott, and then the other wicket taker is Selman.
I remember when the Windward Islands, they agreed with, I think it was Barbados, that 1 or 2 of their players would have gone down to try and make it a part of the Barbados team, way back when, if I'm not mistaken, how they actually got into female cricket. But fielding a complete team, both the Leewards and the Windwards, after a few years, it augurs well for female cricket in the West Indies.
What I want to see, Troy, is that you have more teams from the Leewards. So far, only St. Kitts, Nevis, and Antigua. You need to see more teams coming from the other member territories of the Leewards, widening the pool.
Most correct, the Anguillians, the Montserrats, the Virgin Islands. And with the Virgin Islands, we've seen hot and cold, so to speak. At one point when they started, they played as the combined Virgin Islands, and then they were separated into for the male cricket, the British and the US. So even if they were to start as a combined Virgin Islands, that's a very big step in the right direction. And it's still 70 for the loss of 7. Moses now trying to squeeze any single she can get off the facing 50 plus balls, 53 balls I think it was, to get off the mark. And now eager to try and get a run, any run. And it's Haley Matthews from the Lozak Road end. And that one is a little fuller. And here is Moses sprinting through for a single, shy at the stumps, but missing.
Even though they hesitated, it was played with soft hands. And so they had enough time to complete a single as it went up to mid-off. 71 for 7 in over number 25.
Very good observation, the soft hands. I'm wondering how much the coaches today are telling the youngsters about that. Because we see ball being struck down on the long on, long off boundary, and most times getting just a single. And that one again, soft hands, backward square, running in, picking up a single. And Moses is on to 7, which is the second top scorer in the innings, if I'm not mistaken, Carlisle.
Yeah, that one was played by Tanya Martin, though, between her legs. And she picked up a single to take her to 2. Sharon Moses is on 7 from 60. The experience will do her good.
Definitely, and a much faster one by Haley Matthews. But just coming forward, Moses playing it back and nodding her head, say yes, nice ball. As a former cricketer, the late Eric Williams, a former general manager of the old Bank of America, he used to say, good ball, better bat. And he's here tossing that one up, bringing forward Moses. But then, Carlisle, there's always the discussion. When a bowler bowls a good ball, do you as a batter, especially the striker, say good ball to encourage him and motivate him?
Some players, some batsmen, batters, say good ball in acknowledgement of the fact that the bowler has bowled a good ball. I don't know whether or not it signals encouragement. But one batsman said to me, listen, I acknowledge a good ball, but I also want the batsman to know that I played it even better.
And the question is, there are times the fielders would say, the bowlers, hey, that's a good shot, very good shot. And to me it helps. It shows a good degree of sportsmanship.
Some people are talkers, Troy. Some people are just very quiet at the crease. They mind their own business. Some people do commentary. Some people whistle. Some people sing. Some people are quiet.
And it's Selman who's going to come in from the CA Paul Southwell end. And Tanya Martin guiding that one backward of point. And Moses almost halfway down the track looking for a single. And speaking about whistling, I'm reminded of Lawrence Rowe. I gathered I didn't have the chance to umpire with him. I saw him play a few times. But I understand, especially from my uncle, the late Andrew Weeks, that he would have been whistling at times when he's batting and other times he's commentating. And that funny kind of leg shot. And she's actually given out LBW, lifting the foot, trying to flick, perhaps a dance, as it were, was Martin. And she's been given out a leg before. And the Leeward Islands, they are now 72 for 8 from 25.2 overs.
Selman bowling there, and she was getting the ball on a very good line. You know, the only challenge she had was with respect to her running close to the pitch. But there was Martin, never comfortable with anything on her pads. She was batting as if she was not wearing leg guards.
Correct.
You know, and so anything on her pads, there was she pulling her foot out of the way And this time it struck on the pads in front of the stumps. And the umpire had no hesitation in saying that's out. And so the Leewards slide to 72 for 8. Brings to the crease McCoy. And I'm more than a little bit surprised that she's coming in at number 10. Because she captains the St. Kitts female team. And I saw in a game in Nevis make a half century where she batted really, really well. What surprised me, though, is that in the game against Guyana, which the Leewards had a chance of winning, ended up losing by 1, she seemed very much at sea, very uncomfortable at the crease, and resorted to sweeping at everything. But I've seen her bat and make runs.
She bats number 4, I think it is, for the Leeward, for St. Kitts Padman. She captains. A nice all-rounder. And that always brings up the question. If an all-rounder has good batting stats, do you play them in the traditional 7-8 all-rounder position, or do you play them in a more appropriate position as a batter?
Melissa Martin is an all-rounder. She opens the bowling for the Leewards. She opens the batting for the Leewards.
Exactly. And Selman, her tail and her bat, basically standing and just playing at that one McCoy. Not certain if she's bringing into that the form that you just mentioned from that game into this game. A very powerful young lady.
I don't want to see somebody batting at number 10 and then just bowling 1 or 2 overs. If you're batting at 10, you must be a top bowler.
You should be. Courtney Walsh batting at 11, for example.
Top bowler.
Exactly. And there's she going fishing outside and actually catching, actually taking the edge. There was an appeal, caught behind. She stood, she asked the umpire umps, as if to suggest umps, what's that? I didn't touch it. But something happened and she's on her way. Faced 2 balls, not looking very convincing with either of the balls she would have faced. Carlisle.
I tell you something, Troy. I hate to see batters questioning the umpire. Even if you feel the umpire made a bad decision and that you should not have been given out, that is your business. You have been sent, you should leave.
Exactly. It doesn't help your cause, it doesn't help the team's cause, it doesn't help anybody's cause. Because there are times the shoe might be on the other foot. You're bowling and maybe umpires may make a mistake and adjudge somebody LBW and caught when that was not the case, as we've seen with the review system these days. But for local cricket, we don't have that. But life is about a give and take. You win today, you may not win tomorrow.
I missed the replay though, Troy. I'd love to see it again on replay. But the fact is that she has gone, caught at the wicket off Selman for no score, and the Leewards winning the toss and batting first in over number 26, 72 for the loss of 9 wickets. Selman has picked up 3 of those 9.
With this run rate, the projected score 141.
Tried us overly ambitious.
Extremely
72 for 9.
Scoring at a run rate of 2.81.
The first thing, to get to that score, you have to bat for the rest of the overs and continue the scoring rate as it is currently. How likely is that? Against Barbados? Not very likely.
In to face the last batter, Davana Claxton. And she opens the bowling for St. Kitts. And she also opens the batting for St. Kitts. And she settles. Selman in looking for a 4th wicket. Playing that one back down the track. The left foot Carlisle coming more square. So bat and pad very far apart. And Selman looking for a 4th in just her 5th over. Giving away 9 runs so far. And the Barbados team very quiet on the field. They're sensing it's going to end anytime now. And here is Claxton again, coming forward, playing that one into the offside, the onside. It's the end of the over, 72 for 9. Do you believe that they're thinking their first target would be to get to 75?
Every run would be considered a blessing by the Leewards. Remember, the Leewards won the toss and batted first. Parker is the top scorer with 12. Guess who has the second highest top score from the bat?
Our friend Moses.
Our friend Moses.
So had she picked up another 10 runs from those 50 balls, she would have easily been the top scorer for the Leewards.
I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to ask our senior, Victor Eddy, to go next door by the scorers and check the number of extras for us, Victor. How many wides, how many no balls? But check the number of extras for us, Victor, because they would be a healthy top score.
Easily.
Extras and
Because 12 and 7, that's 19 and 2, 21. And
Another wide.
another wide.
Looks like Gordon who has come back into the attack.
Yes, and she introduces herself with a wide. Having bowled 5 overs, picked up 2 wickets, conceded 12 runs. Here she is again, a little closer. That one seemed to get a bit of leg movement going through to the keeper. But the coaches of all the teams, yes, I think this probably has been the most wides I've seen in a game. But I've seen quite a few wides in all the other games. And all the coaches will have to do some work on that. I don't know if Carlisle, if it's the case where the leaning arm is not really pointing really down the track. Maybe it's coming a little wide. So they'll have to go back, the coaches. And it's with both spinners and the pacers. And this one a little closer to her, but outside the off stump. And Moses, who is on the second top score, 7 from 65, she allows that to go through. And one would dare say easily that it's because of Moses' stubbornness, as it were, at the crease, while Leewards, they're still batting. And here she is guiding that one square on the offside. She remains on 7 from 66.
73 for 9 in the 27th over. And Troy, this is the last round of matches in the CG United 50 over competition. The 20 over starts on Saturday.
And this one is extremely wide, Carlisle. It's going way off the pitch. And the batter actually going over and trying to follow it, but it was too wide, so she allowed it to go through Moses.
Game 1 in the 20 over series, we'll see Windies versus Guyana, 10 o'clock. Leewards versus Jamaica at 2:30. And the final game on Saturday, we'll see Trinidad and Tobago versus Barbados at 7. And on Sunday at 10 o'clock, Leewards versus the Windies, Guyana versus Barbados at 2:30, and Jamaica versus Trinidad and Tobago at 7. All of those matches will be played at Warner Park. 42 extras. Wow. Well, it has now been corrected, so it's now 43 extras from a total of 74. 74 for 9, and Barbados contributed a healthy 43 extras. That shows a little bit of indiscipline. I said little,
Definitely.
more than a little bit.
But perhaps then, I don't know if it's right to say they maybe are not as concerned as they are because they have already won the championship. But then at the same time, you're playing cricket, you want to be as tight as possible. And you are also competing for spaces on the West Indies team. Exactly, and like Victor is saying, you have to be consistent with your bowling. As we're going to see another bowling change here at the CA Paul Southwell Media Center end. Alison Gordon should just completed her 6th over from the Southern Arloza Road end, and she has 2 for 13. Coming forward is Davana Claxton, playing it into the offside as it's Williams who is brought back. Had a very expensive over, 1 for 12, yet to pick up a wicket. 1 over for 12 runs. And that one is bowling Claxton all over the place, pushing that leg down the square, Victor Carlisle, coming forward, not making any connection. And she comes back to the pavilion, having faced 3 balls and not scoring. The Leeward Islands all out 74 for 9 for 10 after 27.2 overs.
Barbados doing the job, being asked to bowl for us, and they have bowled out the Leewards for 74. And we remind you that only 21 of those runs came from the bat. Not 21, 31 in fact. 31 from the bat, 43 by way of extras. But Barbados, they have picked up all 10 wickets, and the high score, 43 extras, and then 12 to Parker, 7 to Moses, who remains not out. And Barbados needing 75 runs to win, and it's just a couple of minutes after 12 o'clock, so it looks like we're going to have an early afternoon, Troy.
Definitely, and if I'm not mistaken, I suspect that play will continue. With another hour and 10 minutes to go before lunch. Play will continue. There'll be the 10-minute break, I think, between innings, and then both teams will be back on the field again. Barbados searching for 75 runs. Only 75 runs, I may add, in their 50 overs, all of 50 overs. And the skies have cleared up, actually. The dark clouds we were seeing on the southern end, they have drifted. And I'm able to count the number of clouds in the sky, Carlisle. 1, 2, 3, 4, about 7 clouds. One of them a little on the thick side. And the heavy roller is being used. It's not the heaviest roller that has been used in the park. There's one lighter than that. And this is the old manual roller.
And we will be seeing Barbados start the run chase before lunch. The roller is now being used. Third umpire is out there. And so it means that we'll have a little 10-minute break as Keller Joseph supervises the rolling of the pitch. The ground staff will, of course, mark the pitch as well. And then Barbados will be looking to hunt down this 75 runs to give them a perfect 5-0 in the tournament. They have played well, Troy.
Definitely, they deserve the championship. They've been consistent all around the batting, the bowling, the fielding. Notwithstanding, in this match, they've given away something like 43 extras, 34 wides, and 6 no balls. But they have batted well, and I know you'll confirm which team has made the top score in the tournament. I know
Barbados.
Kenesia Knight, I think she made the top individual score of 144 against Jamaica. I thought she should have batted and gone to get the 150, but that was not the case. And Barbados, they have had the top score.
318.
Easily the top score.
Second highest score, 253 for 6 by Trinidad and Tobago in the last game against the Leewards.
Wow.
And then Barbados right back in there with 228 for 6 against the Windwards. And so 2 of the top 3 high innings total are by Barbados.
And their batters 4 in the top 10, 1 and 2. So quite a strong batting lineup. And Elliott with the right arm leggy, as it were. Very good action. She has put down quite a few overs, picked up a few wickets, a few maidens as well. And they deserve it in my view. Carlisle, the Barbadians, they've worked hard, they've been consistent. And credit must go to the captain and the coaching team as well, the management team. And
Troy, our technical team is suggesting that this is lunch, but by my reckoning, I think that Barbados will come out in start of the chase because we have an hour and change left.
And we are directed to continue. We'll have to find out, because you're correct, Carlisle. I am thinking with an hour and 10 minutes before lunch, normally if they're going to have lunch now. And that's an interesting thing. But we are advised by the technical team that it's definitely lunch, Carlisle. So we're going to be back in about a half an hour. So we're going to have lunch now, with Barbados needing 75 runs to win in 50 overs. So please rejoin us in another half an hour when Barbados will start their run chase.
Welcome back to Warner Park. Barbados opening their account in search of 75 to win. And they're getting a wide down the leg side. Casey Knight is on strike. And Melissa Clark is the bowler from the media center in. And so the Leewards all out for 74. And Barbados 1 for no loss. Here is a good delivery, driven into the offside, finds mid-off. And there is no run. So the Leewards won the toss and decided to bat. And got a contribution of 43 extras. Highest score from the bat was 12 to Parker. And then the next highest score was 7. Full toss, swung away, down to long on for 4. And so first boundary for Barbados. Then they take the score on to 5 and win the first over. Barbados, of course, the champions, and had that distinction from winning 4 from 4 even before the last round. Driven nicely into the offside, finds mid-off, and there is no run. So they are 5 for no loss, Barbados. Another 70 runs for victory. Barbados opening with Casey and Knight and Holder. Here is a delivery which is on the off stump, played away into the offside, and the cover is into field. No run. Clark to bowl tonight, and she's getting a good delivery. Touching down, striking on the pad, and they go up for the appeal. And the umpire says not out, so it's still 5 for no loss. And Casey Knight is on 4 from her 5 deliveries faced. She's on strike. Clark again. And for this delivery, driven delightfully into the offside. And it's chasing down towards the boundary. It has the legs to get there. Another 4 for Casey Knight. And that will take a total on to 8. And Barbados will move to 9 for no loss. 1 over completed.
Good afternoon, all. Good afternoon, Carlisle Powell, and to all. And the Barbados, they're off to a good start just after the luncheon interval. 9 without loss. The Leewards won the toss this morning and decided to have first knock, but did not get anywhere close to the 100 mark.
The right-handed holder. She will take strike from Tonya Martin, who will pick up from the far end. A little bit disappointed that we haven't seen more spectators in the park, Victor. Cricket is cricket. You love cricket. And you have regional cricket of the women's variety. You come to look at the game.
Yeah, that is so true. But on the other hand, working days, but we will see what will happen on the weekend for the 2020.
Martin, short outside the off stump. And there is Holder playing loosely at this one. Goes through for the keeper to take. No runs.
Well, 66 more runs to get with many legal deliveries to be bowled. I think that is out of the equation in that sense, really. So 293 balls to get 66 runs.
Here is she getting another delivery back of her length and pushes it into the offside. Finds Leewards out at extra cover, no runs. So the real numbers are 66 for Barbados to win, 10 for the Leewards to win. 200, I don't think that they would even think that they can bowl the 50 overs and Barbados will not win. So the real numbers are 66 for Barbados and 10 for the Leewards.
Working, ladies.
3 dot deliveries by Martin so far in the over. And she turns at the far end and comes in now to bowl to Holder, who is chasing a wide delivery, called and signaled. And so the score will move to 10 for no loss in the second over.
Yes, and a wide come in for Barbados, adding to their cause, which is obviously an easy one by all measures.
Short. And again, she's making room, try to play it into the offside. This Holder misses, no runs. Driving firmly is Holder, finds mid-off in the way, and she won't open her account. Leewards, remind you, being bowled out for 74, and Barbados contributing 43 extras to the Leeward scores. Here is Martin, who is playing this one into the onside, passes the fielder at mid-wicket, and they'll come back for a second run. So 3 runs in the over, a wide and those 2, and Holder will open her account with 2, and Barbados will move to 12 for no loss, 2 overs completed.
Yes, 63 more runs to be had for victory for Barbados. The Leeward Islands batted first, won the toss, but they're now 63 more runs for Barbados to get, 288 balls, 12 at the moment is on the board, total for no wicket. And the very informed Casey Knight, and the highest scorer so far in this tournament, she is on strike.
Getting a good delivery and plays it back down the track. Here there is extra cover in the way, no runs. Kishona Knight, Victor, is the one at the top of the leaderboard with 275 runs. Here is she driving, does Knight into the onside to mid-on, no runs. So Kishona Knight, 275 runs. Hayley Matthews, 177. Natasha McLean, she's third with 150. Afi Fletcher is on 148. Here is Clark. Short delivery, swung into the onside, down backward of square and across the boundary for 4. And so she picked it up early, played it well, and brings up run number 16. She's dealing in boundaries, Casey Knight. That's the 3rd boundary of the inning, and she has gone on to 12.
Yes, well executed stroke. It was short and into the vacant deep mid-wicket area and earned herself 4 more runs. 16 is this, the total without loss, Barbados. And really, these two can know from the onset that there is no scoreboard pressure at all, so they'll just have to settle themselves in and get a good personal score to their aggregate. Wide signals, so 1 more to the total. It advances now to 17, Barbados without loss.
And Casey Knight, before this inning, was in position number 8 with 104 runs. And the scores in between they are bunched up slightly, so she can jump all the way to number 5 if she gets a good one in this inning. Played out on the offside, no runs, and so the score remains on 17 for no loss, and we're in the 3rd over. Remember, Barbados just need another 58 runs to win, and they have 284 balls to do so. Melissa Clark Bowls to Knight, who is behind it, respects a good delivery, and plays it back down the track on the offside. She looks in good form, looks a good player. One delivery left in the over. Clark, none for 14 in her second over with one ball to go. And for this delivery, Knight is turning it nicely into the onside, knocked down by the fielder at backward square, and that cut the pace off it. They'll have just a single. And so at the end of the over, she moves on to 13, does Knight, from her 12 deliveries, and Barbados are 18 for no loss.
Yes, and both openers for Barbados looking quite relaxed, and obviously relaxed in the sense whereby it is not anything huge that they would be in pursuit of. Just some 57 more runs off 282 balls. So these two can look for just a good little personal innings here, and no indiscretions, and just add something further to their aggregate.
I suspect, Victor, that I'll be able to take an earlier ferry home this afternoon.
Well, I mentioned it earlier, so you're confirming. Yes, it will be. And that in that sense, too, is very good. You can get to do so many other things during that time when you get back home.
Delivery down the onside, and it's called wide. And so the score will move on to 19 for no loss.
Carlisle, how much a difference you might think if a bowler go around the wicket where they can see the stumps in opposed to bowling over? Probably the bowler, it all depends on the comfort of the bowler and what the bowler is trying to achieve.
Short delivery, loud shout. She was swinging at it, was Knight, and it took the edge of the bat, went through for the keeper who took the catch, and so Barbados lose wicket number 1. Casey and Knight is out, caught at the wicket for 13, and so Barbados are now 19 for 1.
Yes, and even before I started playing cricket, I always heard the adage that cricket is a game of glorious uncertainties. But at this present situation, it can also be that there are certain things exist in cricket too, certain things. Well, here it is, which I don't believe this occasion it will come into that equation, the adage. But there again, too, a bowler can get a hat trick. The next one can come and get 2 wickets, and you have a total different in the game. So, you know, a lot of times, even though it is just a few runs more for the Barbados team to get, sometimes just taking wickets can be a big difference. 19 it is, without for no wicket, and
19 for 1.
Victor. Okay, sorry, the 19 for 1, pardon me. And Barbados, 1, no doubt, obviously, might have just brushed the pad. We did not get any signal from the umpire. So 19 it is, 1 wicket down for Barbados. And the Leeward Islands at the bottom of the table in this CG Insurance Regional Women Cricket Super 50.
Short delivery, played back down the track, knocked down, and then tidied up on the follow through by Martin. And so the score remains on 19 for 1.
And on the replay just a while ago, the wicketkeeper did not appeal, but the bowler did, and the umpire upheld the finger. But anyway, the Leewards striking an early wicket, looking for more, and they will have to really try and take wickets. And one never knows. The pressure can just add if they keep taking wickets, as Carlisle quite rightly say. 10 wickets, but just some 56 runs thereabout more to be had for victory is Barbados, the defending champions.
Here is Martin, and she's driving, takes the outer portion of the bat, goes down to third man. That's definitely not Kishona Knight. the leading run scorer in the tournament so far. Looks like Elisa Scantlebury. She's off the mark on 1, and the score goes on to 20 for 1 Barbados, chasing 75 runs for victory. Holder is on strike, and for this delivery, it's short. She's swinging at it outside the off stump, goes through for the keeper to take, end of the over, and at the end of it, 1 for 5 is Martin, and Barbados looking for 75 to win, 20 for 1.
Yeah, and KC Knight is 13 of 13 deliveries. Tushen Holder.
2 from 7. And Scantlebury 1 from 4. Require 55 to win Barbados. 20 for 1, 4 overs completed. We'll see a change in bowling.
That's middle. Thank you.
Looks like Anthony, who will be picking up the attack from the media center end.
Change a bowler. Bowler is coming right time over. Thank you.
Kimberly Anthony bowling to Scantlebury. And she's coming forward, driving to extra cover, no runs.
Hey, bowling buddy. Everybody lady.
Please remind me how many
Scantlebury promoted up the order. And for this delivery, she's tugging it down to mid-on, finds a fielder in the way, and there are no runs. So Barbados winning the competition handily with a match in hand, and they're looking to make it 5-0 in this game. 55 more runs to get. Here is Anthony delivering a wide down the leg side, and so the score will move on to 21 for 1.
Yes, and Barbados getting some bonuses. Some wides is a continuation. The Barbados, when they bowled, somewhere about 43 or 30 yard wides were bowled, so not good enough at all. But one coming off the outside edge, the field at point, not feeling cleanly, couldn't prevent the batters from getting a run. When the Leeward Islands batted, Therese Parker, she faced 35 deliveries, 12 runs. Sheann Moses,
Right time over. 3 to come.
68 deliveries, 7 runs. Russell Liebert, 15 deliveries, 5 runs. Barbados in response so far. KCNI 13 from 13. And the Leewards looking for more success, being denied at that occasion. Trishan Holder, 2 from 7. And Alicia Scantlebury, 1 from 4. 22 it is the total for 1 in 4.4 overs. And 53 more runs to be had for victory for Barbados, who have already won this tournament. And with the game in hand, and looking to go 5-0 here in this encounter against the Leewards.
Played away square of the wicket on the offside. They have crossed for 1, and that's all they'll have. As the score moves on now to 23 for the loss of 1, and we're in the 5th over. Holder gets a 3rd run, and Scantlebury, who is on 2, comes down to take strike. Anthony to bowl to Scantlebury, who is playing it into the offside. At the end of 5, Barbados looking for 75 to win, 23 for the loss of 1 wicket.
Yes, and they're in full control, Barbados, and 2 batters now having a mid-pitch conversation, and no doubt, obviously, looking at the situation, and most likely might have just been saying to each other, well, no indiscretions, we'll just wait for the loose deliveries, but we must be getting the ones and the twos, and the Leewards really would need to take wickets on a consistent basis.
Martin to Holder, and again she's flashing at this outside the off stump. Not moving her feet at all, missing, goes through for the keeper, and the score remains on 23 for 1. Holder is on 3, Scantlebury is on 2. The batter out, Casey and Knight for 13.
Not just in this match in particular, but for the matches that I've seen, that is another area too where obviously all the coaches will be looking at all areas, but that will be a concern for them too, with the players not really moving their feet well within the crease. So a lot of success can come out of this tournament, not in terms of the results in winning, but in terms of what they have achieved by learning. But Barbados is going to get more runs on this occasion. One play down to third man, and it crossed the line, so 4 more.
Too much width, and taken full advantage of by Holder, who gets 4 to move to 7, 27 for 1 Barbados.
Yes, and they can ill afford to give the batters opportunities to extend their arms, and that was an obvious opportunity, and she accepted the invitation and earned herself 4 runs.
Runs needed now less than 50, 48 needed by Barbados. Here is she coming forward, and looks like an inside edge onto the pads. He rolls away into the offside. Martin fields on the follow through, and the score remains 27 for 1. And you can see what Barbados are doing. They have sent up Scantlebury so she can get a knock. Remember, the T20s are coming up. Here is this one played into the offside, and it's fielded. No chance of a run. 1 ball left in over number 6. Martin is the bowler from the far end, and she's bowling to Holder, who is in 7. Here is Martin to Holder, short, played into the offside delightfully, down to the cover boundary for 4. Again short, and this time she was in measure of it, Holder, and played an absolutely gorgeous shot down to the cover boundary for 4. Takes the score now to 31 for 1, and the 6 overs have been completed.
Good timing, no emphasis on power. It was placement and timing, and earned herself 4 runs. So the 2 batters for Barbados doing the obvious thing, waiting for anything loose and dispatching it. But on the other hand, trying still to accumulate and get the 1s and the 2s, because occasionally the wides will come and possibly the free hits. But from a Leeward Islands point of view, if they can avoid as many as those and bowl more wicket-to-wicket deliveries, I think that can be a better proposition in the circumstances.
Here is Anthony. Delivery, which is taking the inside edge of the bat, goes down backward of square, and the fielder charges off the long leg boundary, does so very well, and restricts the score into 1, 32 for 1 Barbados.
Yes, and good going by Barbados, even though losing the 1 wicket of Casey Knight. But at the same time, though, no scoreboard pressure, so field widely spread. So all in the making for Barbados here, up against the Leeward Islands at Warner Park.
Anthony bowls one down the leg side, called and signaled wide. 33 for the loss of 1. And Trishan Holder is on 11 from 15. Scantlebury is on 3 from 9. And Barbados are currently scoring at 5.35 runs and over, and requiring less than 1 run and over for the rest of the way to win. Here is a delivery where she's making room, is Holder, trying to play it into the offside, misses completely, and it goes through for the keeper to take. Barbados Now need 42 runs to win this game.
Easy going for Barbados. No scoreboard pressure, all in their favor. Pitch giving even bounce, so no indifferences there in terms of the nature of the surface, and Barbados. And that's also a good idea too, to give others opportunities in this situation who have not really had a good stay at the crease to have a knock in this situation. So that is thinking ahead also too. That was a good change in their batting order. That's Barbados.
Here is Anthony bowling a delivery on the leg stump, turned away to long leg, and they'll have a single. So that will take Holder on to 12 and Barbados to 34 for 1. Not too long from now, we'll be celebrating CPL in St. Kitts, Victor, and I'm sure the crowds are going to be totally different. Here is a good delivery from Anthony, forces Canterbury on the back foot, and she defends away into the offside for no runs, 34 for 1.
Well, yeah, the interest that CPL has gained over the years, and so many now in the generation as of now who really likes the 2020 cricket because they get the result in a few hours.
Just saw on the news today, Victor, that Dwayne Bravo has left the Patriots and gone back to Trinidad, to the Knight Riders.
Okay then. Well, interesting, and it is always very entertaining and exciting, 2020 cricket. And the music, the whole environment, the atmosphere is totally festive sort of environment and atmosphere in the CPL. And it's usually because of so many persons from different islands in the Caribbean who live also too in St. Kitts and Nevis will come out and support their teams in numbers. We will see the different colors of the different islands' flags flying lustily.
Parker to start a 4th over, and this one is steered down to 3rd man. It's running close to the boundary. It goes across the boundary, in fact. As we look on the monitor here, that boundary is out of our view, Victor, but nicely accommodated on the monitor. So steer down to 3rd man for 4 to start the over. And so the score moves on now to 34 it is for the loss of 1. 38 for 1. Here is Martin. Holder is on the back foot, looking to force it into the offside. And there is no run. She's on 16 from 20. The runs required are now only 37. And again, to complete that, I have to tell you that they have over 200 balls to get them. Martin from the far end to Holder, and she likes this shot. She likes to try to force it away into the offside, but her percentage in terms of playing it is on the low side.
Well, and we can definitely see that she favors the back foot very much. We have not seen her coming on the front foot quite often, but deliveries that is of a reasonable length, like this one, okay, there she goes now, and she's going to earn a single.
Very good single as well. She was aware, she was alert, and she was running to the danger end Holder. Set off very quickly for her 17th run and takes Barbados to 39 for 1. And we're in the 8th over. So still somewhat 36 runs to get. Here is a delivery which is steered down to 3rd man by Scantlebury. And they'll have a single. She'll move to 4. And the score on to 40. 40 for the loss of 1 Barbados. .35 needed. Scantlebury is on 4. Holder is on 17. And Martin in her 4th over. 1 for 19 before this. Driving firmly down to mid-on, stopped with the boot by the fielder, and they'll get a single. And so Holder will go to 18 and Barbados to 41 for 1. 8 overs have been completed. Barbados are looking for 75 to win.
Yes, and these two, knowing that there's no scoreboard pressure now, meeting and have in a mid-pitch conversation, obviously weighing what is required and knowing that there is no need absolutely for any indiscretions. Current run rate 5.3, 34 more runs, 252 balls to get them in.
And Anthony continues to bowl from the pavilion end. Taken on the pad, loud shout. And the umpire says no. Did he take an inside edge? There were shouts of desperation almost from the fielders. But the fielder there at extra cover was a little bit slow in reacting. Now she seems to be hobbling. Here is Anthony taking it on the part. No, it's off the bat. She was trying to turn it into the onside. Was Holder, took the leading edge, lobbed back up for Anthony to run through on a follow through and take a simple bowled and caught chance. And so Barbados lose their second wicket, 41 for the loss of 2, as Holder goes for 18 and Anthony has picked up a first wicket of the inning.
Yeah, and that was a good delivery because it was one that was pitched, looking at the monitor, pitched just on or about center stump, but then going further to the off, and the batter was hitting across the line, and a simple ball and caught catch was taken. So once the Leewards can at least keep getting wickets, and even though it is more obvious now that Barbados will get the 34 runs, but if they get it in losing 5 wickets, then the Leewards would have done something reasonably well in terms of defending what they scored. But 41 for 2, the Barbados team not really in any real difficulty at this present moment. 250 balls, 34 more runs to be had. Current run rate 4.92, and the Barbados have 34 more runs for victory with 8 wickets in hand.
At the end of the over, Victor, I'll bring in Troy as Anthony bowls a delivery outside the off stump. And there was Calendar trying to cut it away into the offside, missed it, and there were no runs scored. And so Anthony has picked up 1 for 6. She's in her 3rd over. Barbados need another 34 runs to win. Here is Anthony. And for this delivery, driving, comes off the outer portion of the bat, finds backward point, and there is no chance of a run. So no runs in the over yet so far. Not that getting the runs would be a bother to Barbados. They are 41 for 2. And they only require another 34 to win. And they have an abundance of deliveries to do so. Here's a delivery which is taken on the pad. Loud shout. She's out, LBW. Sent on her way by the umpire. Coming across a wicket. The bat didn't come down in time. And my word, Anthony has picked up a 2nd wicket in the over. She is now 2 wickets for 6 runs. And Barbados are 41 for 3. Only 34 needed, 248 balls to get them.
Yeah, 41 for 3, and a good delivery by Anthony. Pitching it wicket to wicket, and that is what all the bowlers now for the Leeward Islands would have to do, because if they miss, you hit. And like she did, it struck the pads, and the umpire had no hesitation in raising the finger. So it is now 41 for 3. And very well bowled, Anthony. And if that can be a pattern here on in for the Leeward Islands bowlers to really try and get most of their deliveries, if not all, wicket-to-wicket deliveries, someone can get a hat-trick and we can see a different picture of their cricket game here today.
You're very hopeful, Victor. You must be a praying man. I can tell you that there is gorgeous sunshine at Warner Park. And so no rain will spoil this party. The Leewards are believing. They have put in a slip.
Bowler is right arm over.
Well, I would not rule out that a bowler can take a hat-trick. Well, that is, speculation on my
I
behalf.
think we have seen at least 2 so far in the competition, so it's not out of the order.
Okay. Thank you.
Here is Anthony. And this delivery. There is Aline going up to a full height. Plays it back down the track. End of a double wicket maiden by Anthony. And so at the end of that, 41 for 3. Barbados, they're looking to get 75 runs to win. And after words from Victor Eddy, you'll hear the experienced voice of Troy Mills.
Thank you very kindly, dear Carlisle. And we brought some success for the Leeward Islands in terms of opening up the descriptions of what is taking place here at Warner Park. And Troy, I do hope that you did enjoy your lunch, but right after the luncheon interval. But the Leewards getting 3 wickets, and speculation on my behalf. It's still a possibility because we have seen bowlers getting hat-tricks. I think it might have been, 2 bowlers so far in the competition getting hat-tricks. So let us not rule that out of the equation. As I say, pleasant good afternoon once again to Troy Mills. Troy?
Good afternoon, Victor. As we've seen a change in bowling, and Scantlebury coming forward, driving that one into the offside, not being able to beat the fielder at that cover position. Claxton, it appears to be.
I wonder if Amanda Edwards is the one who is going to get the hat-trick from the southern end. Let us wait and see.
She's bowling her second ball of the inning, being driven back to the mid-on region.
Stay bowling, stay
And
bowling.
we're reminded of the adage, cricket, lovely cricket,
Yes,
the
sir.
game of glorious uncertainties.
How much uncertainties exist here now? Well, we can never tell.
And I'm not certain we'll be seeing those glorious moments here, but anything can happen. The Leewards picking up 3 wickets. They must believe that they can get the other 7. And the Bajans, on the other hand, they will want to believe that we can take it home this pair, only giving up 3 wickets in the process. And this one is short, trying to pull it square. Does so not with any power, and they're not able to get any run here. A little pep in the steps of the Leewards fielders now, Victor.
Well, what also too is in the Leeward's behalf slightly is that 2 new batters is at the crease and usually take a few deliveries to get settled in. So if the bowlers can really keep it tight, especially the inner ring, oh my,
And
proven me wrong.
Here is Canterbury pulling through mid-wicket. They get 1. They'll come back for 2. And there was the fielder diving to her right, not being able to stop that one. But the one that's Moses, the ball going through to a deep mid-wicket region. The fielder running from forward of square, collected. And here is Scantlebury giving herself room and trying to slap that one in the offside. Doesn't make contact. It's the end of the over. 43 for the loss of 3. Barbados, and trying to get to 75. By this run rate, the game should be finished by the 13, 14, 15 over, Victor.
Wow. You know it better than anyone else here today, and there is no doubt in my mind that that's the high possibility for how they are going. With some 32 more runs to get, 240 balls to get them in, and really, Anthony Doe from this end, we must give her kudos. I think she is doing the ideal thing in the circumstances in defense of a ordinary total is to bowl wicket-to-wicket deliveries. Let us see what she will do on this occasion. Well, you have to, the fielders inside the 30-yard circle too, if they just keep it tight by not giving those singles away and the bowlers keep pegging away wicket-to-wicket, and as we've seen that the second wicket that she got, Anthony, it kept a little on the low side, but the batter was on the back foot also, but driven straight down the ground. One of the better strokes to play in cricket and earn herself 4 runs.
Aline playing that one all along the ground, and she's picking up her first run via the boundary, and she takes her team's score upwards. And Anthony looking a little dejected, notwithstanding she has picked up 2 wickets, but thinking that I should have done better with that ball. 47 for 3. We're now into the 11th over. And Anthony with the figures so far, 3.2 overs, 2 for 10.
Very good, very good spell indeed by Anthony, and she looks impressive. She looks impressive in that trying very hard, and she's doing it well so far. Most of her wickets, most of her deliveries is pitched between wicket and wicket, which is an ideal thing. Defending a small total.
Here she is again, full on the leg stump, whipped away back down to the fine leg region, and the batters basically trot a single, and that takes the score to 48 for 3. Aline, she goes up to 5, and it brings Scantlebury, who has faced 18 balls for her 6 runs, into strike.
Well, what is also good on the Leewards' behalf so far, they have not given away many extras, and here is an extra, but it is coming back from the bat, and it goes into the deep mid-wicket boundary for 4. So even there to delivery there, but the batter equaled it. It was fairly good delivery, but we can see there on the monitor that she actually struck across the line, but timed it well and earned 4. 48 for 3, 27 more runs to go.
Good timing going through the mid-wicket
23
region.
more runs, pardon me.
And picking up a boundary. Before these 2 fours, she would have only conceded 6 runs, and here is a single coming up to Scantlebury, takes her on to 11. And Anthony now 3.5, 2 for 16. 7 runs coming off the over, so she would have had 9 runs before those 2 boundaries and that ball, Victor.
Yeah, so good spell by her so far, and so like I've been saying there that if Anthony can just keep it wicket to wicket, you could never tell, but this one is going to go for 4 though.
A little full on the leg stem and driving, though aerially, straight back, 2 bounces into the boundary, and trying to make this game a little quicker, the Bajans, perhaps thinking about going to the beach a little earlier.
Well, that's quite appropriate. It's very nice weather here in St. Kitts, and obviously as we look across to Nevis, most likely the same. But at Connery Cricket Centre, there's also an encounter going on there, and at St. Paul's, and Troy Biff Mills will just update our viewers and towards what's happening in this CG Super 50 Insurance Women's Regional Cricket. Troy?
Jamaica, they were all out for 105 from 38.2 overs. The Windward Islands are now 20 for 3 after 5 overs. And in the Trinidad and Tobago game, Trinidad and Tobago, they were 132 for 8 at the end of 50. And Guyana, they are 1 for 1 after 1.1. A lot of ones there, Victor. 1 run for 1 wicket in 1.1 overs.
Well, what a sequence and significance there. But Barbados, though, they, like every other team, even though they have won this tournament already, will have to work on their bowlers and see how much they can curtail those bonuses in terms of wides and free hits, because in the shorter version of the game, some 50 overs, yes, designated, and many times, and this one is coming just beneath us down to the fine leg area. It might not have the legs to cross the boundary, but so far the batters have gotten 2 more runs. So even taking the equation lower and lower, over after over.
16 runs now to get in eternity, and 59 for 3 the score. So only a matter of 16 runs in 231 balls, and the balls at this stage, I am thinking not important, not necessarily insignificant, and it's a wide, so it's now 60, giving 15 runs in 231 balls still.
Yeah, and apart from this encounter here at Warner Park, there have been a lot of matches in this tournament to Troy, which we have observed, whereby teams got out with many overs still to be bowled, and those are, it's all going to be a learning process going forward. That 50 overs, yes, don't get carried away by the overs. Check the legal deliveries have to be bowled. Your wides and your no balls going to come into the equation. So sometime a game could end up with 325 deliveries legally bowled. You know,
Indeed.
based upon the wides and so forth.
And here
Oh
is
my, that's a good stroke.
Aline giving herself room, driving through the cover, will pick up yet another boundary. Aline looking very good indeed, looking very confident. Beautifully timed, I must admit.
And we're not certain what happened to the Leeward Islands fielder, but beyond the boundary try, if you look further to the western side, you can still see the fielder who chased that ball. When she gets up, we'll get the back of her jersey and get the number. But we would hope that it is not too serious an injury, but since the ball crossed the boundary line, she has stayed there on her knees beyond the boundary, and a few players and the physio now going out to see what is the position, but we can all and only hope that she is not seriously injured.
Still in that position, Victor, I'm not certain what. We'll probably have to wait and see the replay what may have taken place. And she's now lying on her back, obviously in some pain, obviously in some discomfort. I don't know if she may have pulled a muscle.
That's a possibility too, but we are exploring all these possibilities because we can see the physio now giving her some stretches down there. Another person, another individual is going across to give some assistance. But these things will all happen in sports, but we would hope that it is nothing too serious. Well, the Leeward Islands, though, up against it here against Barbados, who have already won the tournament, just need 10 more runs now. Barbados need to defeat the Leewards, who won the toss and batted first, and did not make a good account of themselves.
Jennison Richards, sporting the number 16 jersey, sees the substitute being used as Amanda Edwards continues from the Lozak Road, and that one is full, and one bounce to the Vanna Claxton, sticking out one hand and allowing that, and it's a no ball, and allowing that one to go through to the boundary. So Leewards getting it wrong with the no ball, getting it wrong with what perhaps should have been 1 run, giving them an extra 3. So it's therefore 65. Barbados needing only 10 more to win this game.
Well, 69 it is now for the loss of 3 wickets. And really, free hit coming up. Let us see what will happen.
And going along the carpet through the covers, and it's a beautiful shot, giving herself room was Aline, and it's going to pick up another boundary in the vicinity of where that fielder went down. So she rushes the score from the Barbadians to 69. So they need 6 runs in 208 balls. And she goes on to 17, Alia from just 7 balls.
Well, the 2 batters are out there in the middle for Barbados. 5.75 is the current run rate, which is irrelevant at this time. Just 6 more runs to be had for another victory by Barbados. All the matches that they have played, and we can see that they will also win this one, so it will be what, 5?
5 out of 5, a
out
clean
of
sweep.
5-0?
5-0.
And
A handful. And there's going to be a change in bowling. And 65 for 3. The required run rate is 0.26 runs per over.
Well, our fellow commentator and good friend Carl Powell, he will no doubt be taking earlier boat
Extremely early.
Extremely. Oh my.
He was thinking
thanks for the correction.
He was thinking 4 o'clock, but it's just about 1:30, Victor.
Thanks for the correction there, Troy. Extremely early, Carla.
And this game may very well finish in this over. We never can tell, but we'll have to wait and see.
You'd like to bet?
I'm not a betting man, Victor, and that's a wide. So 1, and they're getting a single. So that's 2 from the 10 leaves 8. Only 8 more runs to get.
You mean a guy like you? Well, your right pocket look like.
Forgive me, Victor.
Sorry, sorry.
I think we are. I'm seeing 1 run
Okay.
from the
But
balance,
it's over.
but
It's
it
over.
looks like that is over. It was a wide and it was a single.
But anyway.
Yes, so the scores actually, the scoreboard being updated now. So the fielders, they are leaving the field. And the fielder who went down, she is limping her way around.
Jackie, remember my bells, please.
It seems to have been her right leg, and she goes down, hitting the floor again. So in tremendous discomfort, I may add. So 75 for the loss of 3. But then the scoreboard is adjusted again.
But the scorers officially indicated to the umpires.
Yes, 75 for the loss of 3 from 12 overs, scoring a run rate of 6.25 runs per over. Was a Leewards. She has had 1 over, and she had a wide with 2 balls. And Canterbury, she's not out on 14 from 24. Aline not out 21 from 8 for Barbados. And that brings up the end of the game and the end of the 5 rounds of matches here at Warner Park.
So interesting, Barbados, who have already won this tournament, and we are now seeing all the sporting kindness being exchanged between the teams, which is very good, and also the officiators, the umpires. And we will just give some highlights and bowling figures and so forth as to what transpired. But the Leeward Islands won the toss this morning, Troy, and they decided that they will bat. But then nowhere in their innings they ever looked like they were going to accumulate partnerships. But Barbados, on the other hand, even though they had a high percentage of wides, probably they might have been a little complacency coming in, but still, even though you're winning, play every match still with the killer instinct. So Troy Mills, the Leewards going down, but very well played Barbados by winning this encounter here at Warner Park by some 7 wickets.
Keisha Knight, she opened the batting for Barbados. She had 13 from 13 balls. Her opening partner, Tristan Holder, she had 12 from 18 balls. And we'll give you the other stats in a few. Calendar, she was, and Therese, she was caught. Parker bowled Tanya Martin, 13 from 13, she had 3 fours. Tristan Holder caught and bowled Kimberly Anthony for 18 from 25 balls. She had 3 fours. Asabi Calendar batting at number 4. LBW Kimberly Anthony for Duck, she faced 3 balls. Alisa Canterbury, she came not out, along with Aline, and Barbados making very light work of this game, winning by 7 runs, Victor, and cementing their dominance on this championship. Won by 7 wickets, cementing their dominance on this tournament, not having lost a match, having made the 2 of the top 3 highest scores in the tournament. The bowlers, top bowlers, and the batters as well. Then the top 2 in the batting order. We had the highest individual runs, Kishona Knight, that was 144, and an all-round splendid performance by the Bajans.
Well, and the only underperformance that the Barbados team has had, even though they are winners, was in this last encounter here at Warner Park against the Leeward Islands, where we really saw a high percentage of wides. And obviously the coaches will have some consultation and conversation with the bowlers, and no doubt going out into the nets that they will be working on those aspects. But all around cricket, outside of just that part of this series so far, Barbados have really showed in coming into this CG Insurance Super 50 regional cricket tournament being held here in St. Kitts, and more specifically today at Warner Park, where the Leewards were defeated by Barbados, the defending champions, by some 7 wickets. at Connery there is also an encounter, Connery Cricket Centre, and at St. Paul's. So we will just give our listeners an update as to what has happened or what is happening at the other venues of this CG Insurance Super 50 Women's Regional Cricket Tournament here in St. Kitts.
Over at Connery, Jamaica won the toss. They batted first. They made 105 all out from 38.2 overs. Windies needing 106 to win in all of 50 overs. They are 39 for 3 from 7.3 overs. And down in St. Paul's, the Guyanese won the toss and fielded first. Trinidad and Tobago were 132 for 8 from their 50 overs. And Guyana, after being 1 for 1 in 1.1 overs, they are still 1 for 1 from the scores we are receiving, however, from 4 overs. So apparently we have had 2 overs after that, Victor, or 3 as the case may be, actually 3. So a lot of pressure being put on the Guyanese by the Trinidad and Tobagans. But anything can happen in cricket. We've seen teams defend very small totals. We've seen teams struggling to get to small totals. But that is the beauty of the game, cricket. Here at Warner Park, the groundsmen, they are bringing on the covers because cricket will continue on Saturday the 20th, where we are going to start the T20 Blaze. The Windward Islands will be coming up against Guyana at 10 a.m. That match scheduled to finish by 12:45. Leewards and Jamaica will clash at 2:30 p.m., finishing at about 5:15. And then in the feature game at 7 o'clock, Trinidad and Tobago will be taking on Barbados. The T20s, Victor, similar in mentality, similar in approach, however, a little more aggressive than the 50 overs.
Well, yeah, the 2020 also too should attract at least a few more spectators coming out and looking at the matches because, one, it provides more excitement, more entertainment in that sense, whereby, and I'm anticipating that the 2020 series too, it's going to be cleanly and keenly contested, but at the same time too, it's a different ball game, and we will just have to wait and see what will happen. But at Warner Park, we can just reiterate and tell you that Barbados has won by 7 wickets against the Leeward Islands. And Troy, would you have anything else that you would like to add?
It was definitely a pleasure, Victor, working with yourself and Carlisle Powell today here at Warner Park. And I'm privileged to have had the opportunity to operate at Connery as well as in St. Paul's with the legs of the other commentators, and Gary Pemberton from Nevis, Norville McCall, his father Wilmot McCall, Al Edwards. I didn't have the opportunity to work with Earl Smith this time around, Monarch, Clement Ogaro, and we're looking forward to bringing you live streaming for the T20 again. The first 4 matches will be played at Warner Park. Saturday, May the 20th, Sunday, May the 21st, Tuesday, May the 23rd, and Thursday, May the 25th. And the final day, Saturday, 27th. All the games will start at 8 o'clock in the morning at the 3 venues, perhaps to ensure that, as we say colloquially, no selling out. No team is selling out to any team. So they started. But that is a common occurrence when it comes to competitions, tournaments of these sorts, where the final game, it happens at the highest level, football, world cricket football. So that is something we look forward to, and we expect to see greater crowds here, Victor. And as we sign off here from Warner Park, we thank you for tuning in to not only this, but all the other live streams, and we're looking forward to being with you again on Saturday at 10 a.m. when we're going to be bringing you 3 T20 matches down until 9:45 p.m. Again, I'm Troy Biff Mills on behalf of Victor, Eddie, and Carlisle Powell. Thanking you for tuning in to us, and have a wonderful day today.